700 horses of man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get...
Tonight when we were talking about it,
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
For the first time ever in iRacing, the Coast to Coast Racing League comes to the Steel Palace. The names like Shepard, Williamson, and Friesen have won here in the past, but tonight, someone in the small blocks and sprint cars will win here. It could be a Goldner, it could be a Spangler, it could be a Murano, it could be a Salas amongst the notables. We've got a good show around the corner. Welcome to another edition on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Ari Scale alongside Zach Chapman. Had some technical difficulties getting our iRacing all set up, but we are set to go here for the first time at Oswego. Open 358s take to the track. We'll have Rebels and Renegades later on tonight here, but this is going to be an awesome one, Zach. First time ever at the Clay Palace.
Yeah, you know, going to be exciting. Guys don't have setups for this yet. No setup shops have put any out as far as I know, so it's just kind of a run what you brung type deal here, and these guys are going to have a lot of fun tonight.
First driver on track is the 120 of the Hangman, Clayton Clewell. As Brandon Templeton's currently the quickest. Isaac Salas, though, could be looking at a really good lap with the number 5, and he puts it to the top at a 19:54, a tenth and a half better than Brandon Templeton. B-Temp comes across the start-finish line. Does he have a better lap in him? And right now it's a 19:70, so it was better. Not too off, though. Gavin Chatham up to second. Brett Walsh
Who got
currently third
faster?
quickest.
Isaac Salas, 1941. He got even quicker, Marty.
That's
I mean, we were doing our homework. We were hanging out with the Venom guys, and they warned us he had speed, and man, he's quick. 2/10 quicker than the rest of the field here.
Lap 2 times currently getting quicker as things stand. Anthony Morano just jumped up to 5th after lap 2 at a 19:69. Let's see what the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson, has in the number 127. Across the stripe he goes. Atkinson better at a 19:82. Michael Vitale, 12th quickest, as we're in the final moments of qualifying here. So Salas the quickest. And how about this car count, right? How about this car count tonight, Zach? 30 drivers with us here for action.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of almost uncharted territory for us. I'm wondering if it's going to be a 5-heater or if it's just going to stick at 4. But, man, I'm excited here, Marty.
Well, we get things set for heat race number 1, which is brought to you by Gambler Motorsports, an official team of the Coast to Coast Racing Network. On the pole position, Michael Vitale in the 213. Next to him, Logan Wentz in the 118. Row number 2, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano in the 32, and Isaac Salas in car number 5. Row number 3, it's Harold Klump. He's in the 00, and Randall Dixon in the 011. Final row tonight, Craig Bristow. He's in car number 89/39. And Gary Sigelkow with a brand new paint job in the 25. Been a while since we've seen Gary. So, heat number 1, drivers going for the pole here at Oswego. What are we expecting?
You know, I'm expecting a fight for the bottom. We saw Isaac, his pole time was on the bottom, and you know, hopefully we don't have to talk about it much throughout the night, but there is a little glitch that they have to fix here. If you get bounced in the outside wall a certain way, you can kind of disappear. So these guys don't want to be stuck on the outside for any reason in 3 and 4. If a wreck happens in front of them, or, you know, God forbid, they get pushed from behind here. So it's going to be a fight for the bottom.
Well, winner starts on pole. Top 4 transfer to the feature. Zach, I will let you call this heat race as we get set to go green.
Yeah, for the first time ever, we're going to go play in the clay here at the Big O. Here is there off to the races. Logan Wentz with a good start on the outside. He's going to try to carry the momentum through 1 and 2 and try to pinch down Michael Vitale, and it works. Michael Vitale's going to lose 2 spots. Isaac Salas going from 4th to possibly 1st here in 1 lap, hooking on the bottom in 3 and 4. Lot of speed out of that 5 car, able to hold it through 1 and 2, but it's heating up here for P3. Anthony Morano in the 32. He's looking to the high side of Michael Vitale, but he's going to kiss the wall going down the backstretch. Randall Dickens is going to have a big run on him now through 3 and 4, but he's going to lose steam in the middle as Anthony Morano, big run. Out front, Isaac Salas is gone, but Anthony Morano here, big run in the middle of 1 and 2. Going to look low on the 213 here going into 3. Has to get on the binders as Michael Vitale shuts the door here and coming to the stripe here. We're halfway. Anthony Morano with a little contact to the 213, and that's twice now he's gotten in the brakes. You gotta wonder how much more patience he has left in that tank as the 110 of Randall Dixon is all over him. You know, not that we aren't giving our man out front any love here, guys, but Isaac Salas is checked out. He's got a 1.3 second lead, and the battle on track right now is definitely for 3rd and heating up a little bit for 5th. But Anthony Morano here, he's going to roll high going into turns 3 and 4. Going to look to carry a run, but he just loses it in the middle. It's just such a long way around here at the Big O. And white flag is out for your leader here, Isaac Salas. He's going into turn 3 and 4 for the final time. And he's going to be your first ever heat race winner here at Oswego in the Coast to Coast Racing League. But the battle's heating up for 3rd. Anthony Morano's Dino's going to steal it at the line. Logan Wentz come on P2. Anthony Morano third. Michael Vitale fourth. Randall Dixon fifth. Harold Klump sixth. And Gary Sigelkow seventh. What a race there for heat number 1.
Zach, I'm going to need you to do heat 2 as well.
Here we go. I'm not really too sure what we have up on our screen here, but I'm going to read you off the grid here for heat number 2. It's going to go a little like this here. Starting on the pole, we got the 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds, and is outside the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. Inside of row number 2, we have the 31 of Brandon Templeton, and is outside Brett the Hitman Walsh. Inside of row number 3, we've got Superman in the 218, Kurt Schatzer, and his outside Soupy, Dan McLaren in the 88. Rounding out the field tonight in row number 4, we've got the 7 of Bob DeGood, and it looks like Steven Stewart in the 29 is not going to make the call here. So we're going to come down the backstretch here for the final time, and the man who runs Super Dirt Car Week looks at his banner in 3 and 4, and here we go. He's ready to lead off the field here for heat race number 2. Dean Reynolds is looking for a good jump here. He saw the results of heat race number 1. He knows he's got to get up high, and he's got to get up there quick. Brandon Dittmer maybe a little too high in 1 and 2, but big run and coming down the back stretches. Brandon Dittmer here, he's going to take over the lead. Running in P2, though, it's heating up, man. The Hitman, Brett Walsh, he's going to look to the bottom here in 1 and 2, but can Dean Reynolds mount a charge here on the high side to come back on down the backstretch?
All right, I am good to go now. Apologies for that. Brett Walsh, Dean Reynolds battling for the second position as they make their way through turns number 3 and 4. It's Brandon Dittmer that continues to lead. This is really right now a track, obviously the low line slick. The low line's where you want to be early, but as we go throughout the night here, drivers will see here, Zach, take a chance at the high side, wanting to go for a better spot.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the high side work in 1 and 2, especially guys getting big runs coming out of the top. Oh, the Hitman giving Dino a big hit there, and he's going to get into him again.
This is like Morse code. 1 bump, I'm there. 2 bumps, time to move. 3, I'm moving you. As we've got 2 laps to go here. Did not think in this heat race we'd be seeing the Spider Monkey, the man that calls Knoxville his home, out front here in Oswego, as Dino's still trying to play a little bit of defense on Walsh, but they're off the spot, pinches him all the way up next to the boilerplate. Is hanging on for that runner-up position as they make their way off of turn number 4. White flag is in the air, 1 to go in Regency Home Inspections heat race number 2.
Yeah, you just see Dino pull out to a big lead there coming out of the backstretch. He's got to make sure he's got to protect the bottom here in 3 and 4. I think that's where you want to be.
You know who's going to win this heat race? Who's going to finish second, though, off of turn number 4? Checkers wave. Reynolds finishes second. Walsh third. McLaren fourth. Schatzer fifth. DeGood in 6th. Templeton 7th. And Steven Stewart 8th. But it's BD that takes the win in heat 2. As we get set to go for heat race number 3, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Look at that. Dittmer doing some celebrating in the pits. So, heat 3 brought to you by Maurer Farm Management, the official sponsor of the Retreads division. On the pole, Brian Lawson. He's in car number 9. Next to him, the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson in the 127. Row number 2, Canada Connor Ross, the 35, and Gavin Chatham in the 99. Row 3, Bud Molyneux in the 883. Next to him, the Brewer to Beast Jeff Barker in the 513. Jake Henry rounds out the field in car number 171. So the front row going to be full of 2 good friends. Isaac Salas alongside Brandon Dittmer. Now we'll know who starts inside of row number 2 for tonight.
Yeah, Venom having the chance to take the first 2 spots on the inside if Brian Lawson can stay where he is here.
We'll see what happens here as we come to green for heat race number 3 underway. Lawson pushes up just a little bit. Some drivers touch the Jersey barrier in turn number 2. The inside on the pavement is steel. That's why we call it the boilerplate. But on dirt, it's those Jersey barriers they put in. Side by side for the lead. Atkinson barely leads the opening lap here, Zach.
Yeah, you know, I think we've got a really neat track. I think the high side's where you want to be in 1 and 2. Big advantage there coming out of the corner, but you can fight back a little bit on the inside in 3 and 4. I don't think you want to be stuck on the inside the whole way around the track.
Oh,
leader in the wall.
Atkinson caught the wall and now is out of a transfer spot. You saw this wall on our screen. Zach was providing some color, but Connor Ross actually hit the Jersey barrier. Then caught Barker. One around in turn number 2. So advantage in the final transfer spot. Jake Henry in the 171, dodging all those bullets early as we are halfway home.
Yeah, and we know with this 30 car field, that's finishing in the top 4 is absolutely huge here tonight. Double sticks in the air here. The 99 of Gavin Chatham. He's run down the leader a little bit here, Marty. We got a race on our hands with 2 to go.
Yeah, Chatham has reeled in Lawson. Last time by, Chatham battered by just about 0.2 of a second. Tries to use the high size momentum off the corner. Now follows Lawson into turn 3. Hoping the 9 makes a mistake. Lawson just about opened the door for him, but he closed it in the center of it.
Yeah, I think that's a blessing in disguise, though, because I think Gavin, yeah, he wants to run the high side here in 1 and 2. He didn't want pinched on the bottom. This is his chance.
Final lap down the back chute here in heat race number 3. Chatham or Lawson off the corner for the checkers. Brian Lawson takes the win in heat 3. Chatham 2nd, Barker 3rd, Henry in 4th, Atkinson 5th, Connor Ross 6th, Bud Molyneux in 7th. One more heat race left to go. The starting lineup looks like this. The Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux on pole position, the 075. Next to him, it's the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Road to the Hangman, Clayton Clewell in the 120, and Dylan Kinsey next to him in the 639. Randy Shreves inside of row 3, starting 5th. Next to him, the General, Andy Patton in the number 87. Final car, Glenn Sharp in the 99.
I forgot Dittmer, you know, is a Venom boy now. If Trevor Giroux wins this here, we're going to have a Venom sweep of all the heat races. So he's got a lot on the plate here.
Have to see what happens as
Green flag.
we come to the green flag here for heat race number 4.
$100 grand with a big run on the outside, man. And look, Dylan Kinsey hooked up. He's going to try to follow along here.
Battle for second takes place as Giroux did not have a good start. Grandy leads the opening lap. Clewell in
Dylan
4th as he follows Kinsey in that 3rd position. Nice pass around the outside once again of the Venom 075 to slot into 2nd. Oh, Grandy, I think, caught the Jersey barrier into turn 3. Here comes Kinsey for the lead. Does he take it off for 4? Yes, he does.
Yeah, and Grandy's going to do what he needs to do, though. He's going to ride that 639 going into the corner, just pinch him off and get that big run coming out. As he's going to take the clear advantage here going back into 3.
Clewell trying to be a factor in this, almost forced it 3 wide in turn number 3, but hangs on to it. Halfway home in our heat for 3 laps to go. quicker driver last time by was Hundredgram with a 1975. Everyone else was running 20s or above except for Clewell in 4th and Shreves in 6th. Comes Clewell looking for 3rd with 2 to go, Zach.
Yeah, Cleewell's making a big move on the bottom, you know, but now he's got to get where he's been uncomfortable. He's been running.
Oh,
and there he goes. Yeah, I was going to say he's uncomfortable down there. He's been hanging 10 on the high side, and you get somewhere you're unfamiliar with, that can happen.
that Jersey barrier can strike out of nowhere, but this is not over yet. Andy Patton has a chance to shock the field and get into the show. Let's see what happens here for this final transfer spot into turn number 1. Clewell tries to run the cushion off for turn 2. Patton was stuck underneath, and the 120 able to clear. Here comes the leaders. Here comes the leaders off for turn 4, and that's Joseph Grandy that takes the win. The heat race. Kinsey 2nd, Giroux 3rd for 4th. Clewell takes it. Patton 5th, Sharif 6th, and Sharp 7th. And we've got a last chance showdown taking the top 8 to the feature. The bottom 6 will go home. Here's the lineup for the B main. Randall Dixon on pole position. He's in the 011. Next to him, Superman Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Row 2, the Pink Panther, Jesse X in the 127. And Andy Patton, the General, in the 87. Row number 3, Harold Klump in the 00. And Bob D. Good in the 7. And in row number 4, Canada Connor Ross in the 35. And Randy Shreves in the 56. Rounding out the top 10, Gary Sigelkow in the 25. And B10, Brandon Templeton in the 31. Row number 6, Bud Molyneux in the 883, and Glenn Sharp in the 99. Final row, Craig Bristol. He's in the number 89/39. And Steven Stewart just watching here tonight. So
5 going to go home here.
5 going to go home now with a stacked field. Last time we had a stacked field for a B main here, Zach. We pretty much had the top 8 set in like the opening 2 laps, but remember when we were at Eldora last week, that final transfer spot came down to the final straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, look at 7th, 8th, and 9th right now. Connor Ross, Randy Shreves, and Brandon Templeton. I mean, that's gonna change. This is gonna be a hectic B main here. No cautions.
We'll focus on the final transfer spot after lap 1 as we go green. A slow start for both Schatzer and Dixon as the field make their way into turn number 1. Atkinson again clips the barrier and does a wheelie, stacks the field up. Everybody keeps it straight. How about that?
Yeah, unbelievable. And the big beneficiary of that 35 just hugged the inside up 3 spots. He's in there comfortable now, but you got to be looking at that 31 of Brandon Templeton. He knows he's got to get on his horse. He's got to pass 3 guys.
Yeah, he's at 11 and they may come here. Big crash. Sigelkow around, 1 driver up and over. That was Molyneux. Templeton involved. Craig Bristow catches a piece of it. And Bob D. Good currently has the final transfer spot over Glenn Sharp. So it's taken 2 laps for a majority of the drivers in the danger zone to be eliminated.
And, you know, that stinks for some of those guys like Brandon Templeton. I mean, Craig Bristol, you expect them to be in features. That's going to be a shocking exit.
Simple contact, and man, that's a heavy impact in the steel barrier, especially for Molyneux. Connor Ross, quickest driver around last time by to 1982. Tries to close in on the hammer down racing ride of Schatzer. 1 up at the wall, and Jesse Exit barrel rolls it into turn number 1. And he is out of a transfer spot. Glenn Sharp is currently in. Now, if something crazy happens amongst the top 8, Brandon Templeton will find his way back in, but he needs somebody to wreck right now.
Yeah, Brandon Templeton 12 seconds off the back of Glenn Sharp, so he needs a miracle. But Connor Ross, he just threw a slider for the lead here. He passed Superman. Superman's countering back.
Schatzer wants the crisscross of the turn number 3. Does he send it? He does. Could be seeing Slide Job City at Oswego once again. We've got 2 to go in the B main. Some hard race as well for the 4th position. Andy Patton forces his way by past Randy Shreves.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, if a guy's getting his elbows out, just back off, relax. Make sure you get in the show. You got to be smart here.
White flag is out. Final lap underway for Canada Connor in the Gambler Motorsports 35. He started on the bubble in 7th. It's made his way up 6 spots. That last time by quickest lap of the race in the 1976. So you know that Gambler 35 has a very fast hot rod. Off for turn number 4, Ross takes the win. The B-main, Schatzer second, Dixon third, Shreves in fourth, Pat in fifth, Klump in sixth to good, seventh. Final man in the show tonight is Glenn Sharp. We'll step aside and take our first break of the night. When we come back, it's featured time at Oswego. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses of man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. Here come the Extreme ECTV Coast to Coast Racing League Sprint Cars in the Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville National. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Race, drive, green flag, showtime in Knoxville Nationals underway. The Coast to Coast Racing League, in partnership with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Dillon Westbrook Racing, and Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding, are proud to present the 5th annual Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals for the Steve King Foundation. July 22nd to July 25th. 4 days of Knoxville action using the actual Knoxville National scoring system. Over $2,200 in payouts and prizes. $15 for Coast to Coast members, $20 for non-Coast to Coast rating of $3,000. All proceeds go directly to the Steve King Foundation. Feel free to donate more. Open setup 360s with all races at the Knoxville will be open to the first 100 drivers. All races will be broadcasted on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. For more info, log on to www.c2crl.com. It's showtime.
You're watching the Coast to Coast Racing League Open 358 Dirt Modifieds on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, presented by Regency Home Inspections. Now let's go racing.
Brian Lawson getting us set to go here for tonight's 30-lap feature, as you just saw Connor Ross take a huge ride before we switched over to Harold Klump. Time to meet the field for our first feature of the night. Here is the RSN Trackside starting lineup. On the pole, slide job, Isaac Salas in the 5. Next to him, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the 83. Row number 2, Brian Lawson, the 9, and 100 grand Joseph Grandy in the 518. Row number 3, Logan Wentz in the 118, and Dean Reynolds, Dino, in the 79. Row number 4, Gavin Chatham in the 99, and Dylan Kinsey in the 639. Rounding out the top 10 on the grid, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano in the 32, and the Hitman, Brett Walsh, in the 520. Row 6, the Bird to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513, and the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux, in car number 75. Row 7, Michael Vitale in the 213, and Dan McLaren in the 88. Row 8, Jake Henry in the 171, and the Hangman, Clayton Clewell, in the 120. Row number 9, rest of the field look like this. Connor Ross and Kurt Schatzer. Row 10, Randall Dixon and Randy Shreves. Row number 11, Andy Patton and Harold Klump. Rounding out the grid, it's Bob DeGood and Glenn Sharp. Let us know your picks to win here tonight. Jason Butterfield checking in, and as always, he's rooting for the Venom Racing team. GJ Boydell stopping in to say howdy and rooting for the retreads. Hope you're feeling better, man, as he's recovering from back surgery. And Gary Sigelkow rooting for Venom. Picks to win. Zach, we'll go with you first.
Oh, man, I got to take that low-hanging fruit, right? That 5 car sitting on the front row. Isaac Salas is going to win this thing tonight.
Joseph Grandy looked really good. Give me 100 grand from the 4th position.
We think alike, Marty. That would have been my pick if I didn't want to go with the front row there. That's a good pick.
Alrighty, Steve King Foundation pace car makes the left-hand turn onto pit road. You know, I know it's the first feature of the night, but we're at Oswego, baby. So where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast, right here at the Clay Palace? Salas and Dittmer bring us the green. It's time to get it on.
Yeah, Isaac, that thing tightened up on him when he got in the gas, and man, his teammate Brendan Dittmer gave him a bunch of room to gather them up. That could have been bad.
It's the Flatline Racing Bodies green flag as Salas and Dittmer battle in a turn number 3 and 4. Slide job with the advantage off the corner as he leads lap number 1.
Yeah, but the Spider Monkey's coming back here on the bottom, Marty.
Can he get the lead off for turn number 2? He cannot. Salas fights back. Drivers nearly clipping the boilerplate off of the corner. Dittmer clears Joseph Grandy, but then he washes up the hill. 100 grand with a chance for the 2nd position. Here comes the 79 of Dean Reynolds as well, Zach.
Yeah, no surprise. I mean, that man's very familiar with this place, and I mean, he's become a top dog in this series. I don't care how much he wants to hate on himself. Podium after podium, he's someone to reckon with.
He's normally up in that tower above the grandstands, but today he's on a racetrack. Oh, one up in the wall. I think that was Randy Shreves with the 56, and it was, and he's up on 2 wheels. We stare into the green flag as Shreves is able to keep it straight. Dylan Kinsey, though, the quickest car on the track in a 1996 the last time by, tries to take away 5th from Dino. Oh, and Brandon Dittmer got wide. I'm not sure if there was contact with Grandy or not, but he's fallen all the way back to 6th.
No, it didn't look like there was contact, but yeah, now he's on the outside 3 wide here. Ooh, I thought they were going to run out of room, but Logan Wentz, he had to back off there off the bottom.
It was Brian Lawson that was stuck in the middle. Again, Dittmer clipping the boilerplate. If he hits the wall a little bit harder, he's probably out of the ballpark, as Zach mentioned earlier. Now Salas, the quickest driver on track in a 1989, as Joseph Grandy continues to follow him down the back straight into turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, Grandy's turned that wick up here. Our 2 horses leading the charge, as it looks like Grandy's better in 1 and 2, Isaac better in 3 and 4. It's going to be interesting to see how the track cycles out and how the lines change.
And now it's Dino, the quickest driver on track in a 1986 in 3rd, catching Joseph Grandy and his buddy Isaac Salas for the top spot. And he's got some help from behind in Dylan Kinsey. Grandy, meanwhile, tried to look low for the race lead, but Salas shuts the door as we work lap 8.
Yeah, but here, Grandy, he's going to get a big run.
Nice
he's going to
defense. Great defense from Salas.
Yeah, Isaac shut the door, and Grandy's going to be nice. Knows there's a long way to go. No reason to force the issue, but he's going to feel the heat coming down his back here from the 79 soon. So if he's got speed, he's got to go.
From the bumper of Isaac Salas, where you saw Grandy have the advantage that last time by off of turn 2. Grandy exited high, Salas exited low. That gave Grandy a big run on the back straight to try and take the lead away, but he plays defense. But Grandy kissed the wall. Reynolds has a chance to take away the runner-up spot.
Yeah, Dino is quick right now, but that 518 is going to get a big run here, and Dino doesn't want to get trapped on the bottom and let that 639 of Dylan Kinsey go on by, because that man's got some speed too.
How about the top 5 drivers? Nose to tail. Open 358 race, so the drivers don't really have the best setup to use. They could use the baseline Swan setup that Gunnar Swanchara provides thanks to Full Throttle Motorsports. And guess what? It's providing us with a heck of a show already. 11 laps in the books. Let's pull up the 5-lap average here for the first time tonight. Show you who the best race car is. The drivers in 3rd through 5th have the advantage. Dittmer in 5th, the best 5-lap average at the moment.
Yeah, you know, they're getting to see where everybody's messing up, and they get to make that time back. And Isaac Salas, he keeps getting loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Was pretty good that time, but
contact.
Joseph Grandy's being patient.
Contact around the 9th position. Gavin Chatham got sideways after a little kiss from Logan Wentz. Again, everybody hangs on to it, and we stay green. 12 laps in the books. Grandy still has the 2nd spot. Reynolds tests the top out. This could open up Kinsey to take away the bottom step of the podium. It doesn't.
Yeah, no, Dino with a big run coming off of 4. You know, we know that's where you want to be in 1 and 2. We've seen guys have a lot of success, but Dino being the first to really experiment up there in 3 and 4, other than Brandon Dittmer. Brandon Dittmer's been trying it, but he's been kissing that wall.
Just had an update, by the way. Connor Ross has jumped into the pits. Something may tell you that he took out the wall, and boom, bye, and sync is what sung to him. So we're approaching halfway this time by. 15 up, 15 down, and again, continues to be Isaac Salas in the Super Dirt Car Series Venom Racing number 5. Brand new paint job. What a better time than to debut it right here at Oswego.
Yeah, you know, that thing's going to be beat up, though, if he doesn't get on the loud pedal, because that 518, Marty, one mistake and he's there. We've seen him check up. There he lifts a little bit again in the middle of the corner, and he's going to run out of patience. You know, he won last night, was pretty aggressive in the late model, and, I mean, that 518, we know he knows how to use that bumper, and he's going to use it soon.
The last 5 laps on each side, way too close to call in comparison. You saw a different line from Salas, tried the high side on the exit, and it actually worked out for him. Got back to clearing Joseph Grandy, but that 518 is still a bumper behind, but Salas pushed up. Grandy's got a chance for the race lead off of turn number 2, and again, Salas finds a way to clear.
Yeah, it's almost like Isaac likes that high exit on 1 and 2. He's willing to give up the bottom there, but he won't flirt with that high side in 3 and 4. The only guys that we saw do that caution out are
Brett
Dino
Walsh
and Dittmer.
upside down in turn number 3. So how about that? 18 laps, and we have our first caution of the night at Oswego. Let's show you what happened to the Hitman. In the corner, running the high side, caught the boilerplate, and up and over he went. And a lot of drivers having to take evasive action. So this will be a double file restart. Something to keep in mind too, and likely be our only double file restart of the night, because we are approaching 10 laps to go. And you see the impact for the Hitman that sent his 52 up and over.
And this is where we're seeing Isaac choose the bottom here. I think that's very smart defense. We've seen how good Grandy is on the bottom in 1 and 2, and you don't want to let that man get a run on you before your engine's up the full song here. So make him do it the hard way. And, you know, maybe Dino's sitting in that Discord right now. Maybe he can get a little help here, get a little jump on the start and move up to P2. That might be exactly what Isaac wants.
Well, we know Salas selects the bottom here for this restart, so he's going to stay there, try and catch Grandy sleeping. So Kelsey checking in, rooting for Isaac. Biggest movers so far at the moment, Clayton Clewell and Kurt Schatzer in 10th and 12th. They are each up 6 positions tonight. So the Hangman's broken into the top 10, and so he is currently your official biggest mover thanks to the higher position. So go 1 to green here this time by from, we'll call him Dave Barney today. A combination of Barney the Flagman and Dave Farney, who does the flagging for the Dirt Car Northeast events. So Isaac Salas, Joseph Grandy, row number 1. Dean Reynolds, Dylan Kinsey, row 2. Brandon Dittmer, Anthony Morano, row number 3. Row 4, Logan Wentz and Brian Lawson, Gavin Chatham, Clayton Clewell, the top 10. We'll watch the shot for the aerial cam as we go back to green with 11 laps to go at Oswego. And there's the jump from Salas, a chef's kiss restart. He catches Grandy sleeping. Dino's got a chance for 2nd into 1.
Yeah, and you know, that's exactly what the 5-car ordered here. He wants those 2 to go at it, but the 518's going to have a big run here. Dino's got to try to keep a fender under him.
Oh, how close can you get? Murano, Lawson out of the ballpark. A lot of net code further back. I don't know once again how everybody kept it straight. But we can tell you this, Brian Lawson got on the wall hard enough. He's in the pits, done for the night. That's an unfortunate break.
Yeah, Lawson was having a good run. Really looking forward to this track for sure. That's tough way to end the night for that 9 car.
So no change pretty much amongst the top 5 at the moment. Logan Wentz now tries to close in on Brandon Dittmer for the 5th position. Clewell 7, Chatham 8th, Kurt Schatzer 9th. So Clewell and Schatzer now each up 9 positions and are having great runs tonight. Chatham may have a chance to take away this spot, which would help out Schatzer for the hard charger.
Yeah, the 99 looking hard here, but not really able to show the pace we know he's capable of having. It. Only losing 1 spot here in the feature. Normally he's a going forward guy, not a moving back.
Dittmer in the wall big time. He bobbled. Logan Wentz moves up to 5th. Dittmer loses a handful of spots. Dan McLaren takes it out the wall, and he jumps into the pits. We stay green.
Yeah, and Clewell hangs 10 in there with a slider. Dittmer tries to counter back. He's not going to have a run, though. Clayton's going to shut the door, and Clayton, man, he's up 10 spots. Good run for him.
And
Contact
Dittmer,
on the middle 3 and 4.
Dittmer had to let off the throttle and get the binders. More contact, this time between Dittmer and Chatham. The 83 car is in a whirlwind of trouble. Caught the Jersey barrier all the way down to 9th. What looked to be a top 5 run for him has gone away big time. 5 laps to go for Isaac Salas, 4/10 of a second lead on Joseph Grandy. It seems to be like everyone wants to follow where the leaders go tonight, no matter what.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a case of follow the leader. It's tough when guys are this close. You don't really want to experiment and get hung out. You know, you want to stick with what works. But I have a feeling here, Dino, he might reach into the bag of tricks here. He wants that middle step of the podium.
Chatham wants 6th from Clewell. And Clewell with corner advantage off of turn number 2 and hangs on to it. Three to go for Salas. Joseph Grandy running out of time, but may have to play some defense for 2nd, as Dean may want to snatch that runner-up spot away.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're seeing. That 79 car has a lot more speed than we know, and Joseph Grandy can't really try to attack at all. He's having to play defense. He wants to hold on to 2nd, but Dean's hungry.
2 laps to go. So we're all watching this battle for 2nd place very closely. Isaac Salas, meanwhile, takes the white flag. 1 lap to go. The driver of the Super Dirt Car Series, Venom Racing, Mission 22, RSN Trackside, number 5, goes down the backstreet. The first time he went to Oswego Speedway, he watched his favorite driver, Matt Shepard, win Super Dirt Week 50. But guess what now? The IRC from ND takes the checkered flag. Salas wins at Oswego. Grandy 3rd, Reynolds 3rd, excuse me, Grandy 2nd, Reynolds 3rd, Kinsey 4th, and Wentz 5th.
Yeah, Grandy was able to put the pressure on him early, but when it mattered on that final restart, that 5 car, he checked out. He kept enough right rear in the car, and man, he earned that one tonight.
I would not be surprised if this was Isaac's favorite victory yet in coast-to-coast action, but obviously those few New Yorkers, Joseph Grandy, Dean Reynolds, Dylan Kinsey, I know they really wanted that win too. Being near Oswego, so. Hard charger, by the way, was Clewell from 16th to 6th up 10. Kurt Schatzer only gained 9 spots tonight. Excuse me, to finish in the 9th position. Here's a look at 11th through 20th. Harold Klump started 22nd and finished 15th at the end. Glenn Sharp from last to 17th. Obviously, a couple of drivers with heartbreaks like Brian Lawson. Dan McLaren, Connor Ross amongst the notables here. So, but a phenomenal race here at Oswego. Not bad of a way to kick it off at in coast-to-coast action. So, let's see if we can get all the top 3 in here, and I think we do. So without further ado, let's pull up the man that spent pretty much every Super Dirt week in the last 5-6 years. I don't know. I've lost track of time. Dean Reynolds. Now, Dean, you are normally hanging out up in the tower during Super Dirt Week. What did it feel like to be on track for a Coast to Coast Racing League event?
Well, actually, I'm in the infield until the features on the final 2 nights. But, it's even though I know the place by the back of my hand, you don't know how it's going to race in a simulation. So, the lanes are a little bit different and stuff. But I felt a little pressure. I'm like, I'm at this place 6 days a year straight through for Super Dirt Week. I better at least do something with it. So I put my Super Dirt Car Series only sponsored car out here. And I tell you what, again, Swan Speed Shop, base set. That's all I did. And I just went down on gear. And I think I had something for the guys. I just couldn't find a lane. But I think actually this time I can say I was a little faster, I thought. And I think Joseph's tires went there at the end. And then when I went 2 to go and I tried to sail 3 and 4 up top, I was flooring it coming out of 4, and I lit the tires up, and my tires were gone on the last lap. So I went to Dylan and Discord and said, "Dylan, careful, my tires are gone." And so I hung on for 3rd. But it was a lot of fun. It was good. Almost nonstop. So I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. And, having watched all these Super Dirt Weeks in the past, whether it be on a broadcast or at the track, watching where all the drivers were going tonight, it really looked a lot similar to what we normally see in October.
Yeah, when the track is right, the only little bit of a difference here, they don't do a slider line like we were in 1 and 2. They'll actually sail it in up top on 1 and 2 and grip and then go around and hug the wall. And then 3 and 4 actually is easier to go up top in 3 and 4 in real life, because in 1 and 2, it actually levels off way up in 1 because that's how the wall is. You got so much room in turn 1 that when we put the clay down, we don't put the clay down all the way up to the wall as a gradual banking because no car is going to go up there. Well, when they do try, they actually get on a reverse bank. So, but you're right. It is, you do want to try to come out low at a 4. If there is a cushion, then you do sail it in 3 and 4 up top. But I tell you, it's so weird that I'm sitting in a simulation and or a game, whatever people want to call it, and I'm going around Oswego, and I'm like, I wonder if this is what the guys really feel.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Well, I got to thank the guys from Full Throttle Motorsports, as always, the great guys, and always help me out and stuff like that. And keep me going fast, and they were helping out in that Discord. We were helping each other out there, what lanes were going and everything else. And so I got to thank Swan Speed Shop. I tell you, Swan Speed Shop, if you want 358 sets, most of these speed shops, they concentrate on big block sets. Swanee likes to do 358s as well. And I always forget to mention, if you do code, not CART, to get your Galen's, but if you do C2C, you get 20% off Swanee's subscription. So it's a subscription. I believe it's $40, and then you get 20% off. You get every set he has for 3 months straight. So
you have been slacking. I don't think I've heard you say that.
No, slap me. You're right, Shaggy. And I mean, that's why I put money on the team to get my logo onto things, because I don't do this right. I don't win enough. I'm not like Isaac that can read off 10 of these things, or Morano that can read off 10 of these things without stuttering. I get these podiums very few times. So, but you're right. C2C, 20% off to all the Coast to Coast members. Get your Swan Speed Shop 360 sets. So it's cool. Thank you, guys. I wish I was in the booth with you, but it's fun to be in the Discord with the guys. But you guys are carrying on the Booth Boys legacy. Happy about that. And then like to thank all the sponsors, Regency Home Improvement there, Brian Lawson, for allowing the 360s to get televised. If it was for his help, you guys wouldn't be here to show us. Gotta say hi to Megan, who I think is at work, so I don't think she watched it live, but she'll probably watch it later. And hopefully my dad was on there watching live. And hey. I'll take the 3rd, and then we'll watch the Rebels a little bit, and then we'll go into Renegades and see if we can keep the good luck with the sprint car going. And congrats to Isaac and Joseph. They earned it. Great job. They didn't make any mistakes. Joseph got the wall on the outside of the front straightaway there once, and I tried to get under him, but I didn't get enough momentum. And Isaac, I was just hoping he would hit the inside wall coming out of 4, but he never did.
Well, great job tonight, man. Best of luck in the Renegades, and if we don't talk with you during the Renegades, safe travels to Thunder Mountain on Tuesday.
Thank you, Marty. Yep, Super Dirt Car Series at Thunder Mountain tomorrow, which is just north of Binghamton. First time ever. We're going to do it in honor of Dale Plank as well. Should be a big show, and hopefully we'll see some friends there. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Dean. Appreciate it. So Dean Reynolds finishing in third. Let's talk to Hunter Grant, who finishes in second. Joseph Grant, he's got Zach.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Hunter Graham, man, Shaggy up in the booth here. You know, all in all, a good run, and you know, I'm just gonna cut right to the chase here. You maybe didn't have anything left there to keep up with him at the end, but you may be kicking yourself for getting in the brakes those couple times when you were underneath the 5.
Yeah, as soon as that yellow came out, you know, my tires were pretty much shot, and I wasn't gaining on them or losing a whole lot either. But you know, he gets the jump on the start. But yeah, I know he came down on me a couple times there, but I'm more than happy with a second than causing a wreck.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, this is you're from New York, right? This is kind of like a hometown trackish thing for you.
Yep, this is in Weedsport. Yep.
Yeah, so there we go. You know, first night on the sim, smarter, than to jeopardize that podium. You did a good job. You ran smart, and all in all, man, P2 got to be happy with it. Who you want to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing Repair, Highline Photography, girlfriend Olivia, Fresno Motorsports, everyone at Coast to Coast, and appreciate you guys for doing the broadcast.
Great job tonight, Joseph. You going to be running any sprint cars with us here?
Yeah, I'll try out the Rebels here.
All right, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, later.
So Joseph Grandy finishes in second. Now we go to victory lane. Isaac Salas is the first coast-to-coast winner at Oswego. Brother, how's that feel?
That's a great way to start, huh? That was awesome.
I said after you took the checkered flag, this may be the biggest win for Isaac ever because it's Oswego of all places.
Yeah, dude, that's literally the exact thought process I had, to be entirely honest with you. I was like, I have to show out here tonight. It's Oswego, so yeah, I definitely put some effort towards it, I'll tell you that.
So Joseph Grandy was all over your rear end here throughout the night. In what ways were you pretty much trying to hold him off here?
My car was super tight because I ended up breaking it on like lap 1 or 2, or whenever Dittmer and I swapped and I was on the high side and I hit the wall on the front stretch. I broke my wheel a little bit, and so I was tight, and so it caused me to have like super difficulties in 3 and 4, and I knew that the only way I could probably just keep him behind me is stay on the wall in 3 and 4, and then kind of just surprise him on my entries. And in 1 and 2, I know that I hit the bottom and did like a slider line basically for protection, and then a couple times where I felt like I was losing a little too much momentum, I was entering in a little bit more in the middle, but and still sliding it out. So that was kind of the game plan in 1 and 2, and then just bottom 3 and 4.
I talked with Dean about this, and I'll ask you this too, but it looked like the lanes the drivers were all using were a lot similar to what we normally see in October, with the exception of the slider line that was taking place in turns 1 and 2. Would you agree with that?
I actually agree completely, to be honest with you. And I think the only reason that the slider line was very predominant in 1 and 2 was the fact that it wasn't as slicked off as what we would see in like a Super Dirt Week feature. And so there was still a little bit more tack up top that you could kind of slide to. And I think that's honestly, I think that's the only big difference. I think it raced pretty damn similar.
Well, a great win for you. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
I think we can start with the big one, man. Super Dirt Car Series. It's Oswego Super Dirt Car Series. Like, the boss it was there. Like, that's, what else can you ask, really? All the boys over at Venom Racing, Magnum Race Designs, and Tommy Gunn Customs for that new paint, man. He got done with it, I want to say 2 days ago, and man, I've gotten crazy amount of compliments on it already, so that's pretty awesome. RSN Trackside with you, sir. I finally got your logo on a car. which is sweet. Mission 22, my Gramson Top Notch Trucking. Thank you guys for the broadcast. Thanks Coast to Coast for the league. And yeah, other than that, good run to Dean and Grandy.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight, and best of luck in Rebels coming up here.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Isaac Salas puts her in victory lane at Oswego. We'll step aside and go to break. Stay with us at the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We get set to go now for Rebels at the Oswego Speedway. And this right now, ladies and gentlemen, just to me personally, this just seems so surreal to see sprint cars at Oswego on iRacing. You know, who knows, we may see it in real life possibly down the road. Let's welcome you in the booth here for the first time tonight inside the Oswego Speedway Tower. Marty Scala with you alongside Zach Chapman. What a start to the night here. We see Isaac Salas take the win in the 358s. Now we've got, as of right now, 18 Rebels about to take the Clay Palace here, where nobody knows what to expect here coming up.
No, and we've had some real big names show up in this. You know, Thomas Scott, Chad Griggs, Connor Ross is an A driver, but just doesn't have the time to really put into it. There are a lot of good guys in here, and man, this is going to be some fireworks in the show.
Well, why don't we get right into qualifying? 2 minutes for all the drivers to put their best of 2 laps up on the board. And so we'll check out the first driver that we will watch on your screen. Now we'll pull up the best man, Roger Craig. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is Michael Todd making the, I believe this may be his second start of the season on Monday night. If not, his first start in the Mystery Machine 117. Shaggy, your scheme lives.
Yeah, my trading paints is giving me trouble right now, so I just see green rims in a white car, but I'm glad that the Scooby-Doo paint lives on here.
So Michael Todd makes his way through turns number 1 and 2 as Todd sets the bar to 17.63. Call that a lap. Gavin Chatham, though, to the top of the charts. Chatham now at a 17.140. See if anyone could possibly hit purple here as the field makes the way through 3 and 4. Maybe JJ the jet plane. Oh, no, and he does. Puts her to the top at a 17.02. Thomas Scott now the quickest at a 17.02.
Yeah, Thomas Scott, whenever I see the front of that car, his name there, I always think of GameStop for some reason with the white to red.
Yeah, I can kind of see that too. So one more driver to take some time. Been a while since we've seen the Goose. Chad Cote, glad to see him out on track. Breaks into the top 10. 472, excuse me, on lap number 1. Looking for a much better lap here.
Chad Griggs, quick time.
Yep, he did go to the top of the charts at a 16.85, 16.849 to put her on pole with the only 16-second lap. And so qualifying is in the books. We now get set to go for heat race number 1, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. Here's the starting lineup. Rick Mayne on pole position, the 187 next to him. Excuse me, Dan McLaren in car number 88. Row 2, JJ, the jet plane O'Dow in car number 38. And Chad Griggs in the 270. Final row has Tyler Flynn in the 831. And the captain, Gary Taylor, in the 34.
Gesundheit, Marty.
Thank you. I don't know what it's been with me tonight. I've been sneezy for some weird reason. So, JJ Bryce, by the way, don't worry. I got your guys' Discord message, and I'm gonna put your card numbers in. No worry. I got numbers from them earlier this week. I did not put them in. I forgot all about them at the last second because I normally put these new schemes in about an hour's notice. So Maine goes to the back here. Luckily, everyone transfers out here tonight. Luckily, it transfers out of heat races to the 25 lap or excuse me, the 30 lap feature that we have set. So, who are you watching out for heat race number 1?
Well, I mean, the jet plane here, he just got a huge bump, gets to move up to the front row. You got to keep an eye out on that guy, but, I mean, you always got to watch out for Chad Griggs. That guy, I mean, he almost won the Knoxville Nationals a couple years ago. I mean, that's a guy who, when I see him show up, you got to keep an eye on that 270.
Steve King Foundation pace truck. About actually does not. We'll go 1 extra lap. I wonder if the driver's going to get 1 additional pace lap just to get an idea of what the track looks like here, because a lot of these drivers, I mean, I know we've had the past week to get ready for this race, but for some drivers, it may be their first time on a league race at Oswego.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. It's one thing to go out there and test by yourself, but get other guys around you. You know, you're hearing the sounds of cars. It just adds another level. So got to keep calm and make sure you hit your marks here.
Winner starts on pole position for tonight's 30-lap feature as J.J. Odell and Dan McLaren get it set to bring us to green. Heat 1 underway at Oswego. Off the corner, still side by side. Drivers from 4th on back getting really snarly as JJ throws the slider up on Dan McLaren to take the lead. The 88 tries to crisscross back. Lap number 1 barely led by McLaren. Almost sent it in way too deep. And JJ goes back to the lead. It's very tough to do slide jobs at Oswego with how thin this track is.
Yeah, you know, not a lot of banking there to catch either. As Chad Griggs is finding that out. He's able to stick it, though, in 3 and 4, and now he's going to have to see if he can run down the jet plane here.
Could have a chance to go side by side with him through 3 and 4 if Odell keeps her to the bottom. Now tries the slider, cuts off Griggs' line. The 270 diamonds the corner as they're wing to wing for the race lead. Griggs has the lead after 3 laps. And a big slider.
Yeah, that short slider, that's perfect. Textbook, just lifted, parked it right on the front of JJ. Now, JJ's going to go big time here, and he's got to find a way to woe it up before he gets on the wall.
And another great read by the 270 of Chad Griggs. Odell hangs on to it. He had to catch a handful with there as he saw the car sideways across the start finish line. So it's Griggs that leads, Odell second, Maine third, McLaren is third, and Maine is fourth. Everyone looking at the cushion right next to the boilerplate at the moment.
Yeah, the exact opposite from what we've seen in the 358s, Marty. We're kind of seeing the guys run that lane Dean talked about, where they're just running in real high into 1 and 2, and it just hooks right there on the cushion.
You know, with 2 laps to go here, why don't we take you for a ride on board with the 38 of Chad Griggs, and we'll pull up the dash cam, show you what the speeds are like. 130 miles an hour into turn 1 at Oswego as he clips the wall. You don't really want to do that. That's like, we're talking, I would assume we're talking like super modified speeds here, as of course the asphalt version of Oswego is the home of the super modifieds as we've got 1 lap to go. So it's the 270 of Chad Griggs out in front. Was the quickest in qualifying. Now comes out for turn 4, wins heat 1, and is on the pole position tonight. Odell second, McLaren third, Maine in fourth, Flynn fifth, and Taylor sixth.
Yeah, and you know, Rick Maine, considering that Heat EOL there, he was showing some speed there at the end. You might want to keep an eye on that guy come feature time.
Heat race number 2 brought to you by the Regency Home Inspection. Here's the starting lineup. The General Andy Patton on pole position, the 87. Next to him, it's 100 grand Joseph Grandy in the 518. Row number 2, Gavin Chatham in the number 99, and Thomas Scott in the 18. Final row tonight, Chris Schaefer in the 123, and the best man, Roger Craig, in the 747. And I believe that is a Mike Westbrook picture on his top wing. Of course, we've got the Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals coming up in a couple weeks in honor of the Steve King Foundation, as well as the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and a whole lot more. And obviously that was huge news that came out in recent weeks. Got to give a huge thanks to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame in Knoxville for their support of our virtual Knoxville Nationals. That's pretty cool to see, Zach.
Yeah, you got to love that, and can't wait for it. And I don't mean to take the shine off that, but my God, Joseph Grandy's got the best sprint car I've ever seen in my life. It reminds me of the tennis Nerf ball things that I had when I was a child, the pink and green where you'd hold it on your hand to catch the tennis balls. Joseph, I may have to find out who your paint guy is here.
Well, it's Inferno Motorsports, so I would assume they'd go through the same paint guy here. Chris Schaefer probably goes through the same paint guy, too. It's probably Andy at A&J Custom Creations, but don't quote me on that.
Man, I may have to reach out. That thing is beautiful.
Winner starts outside of the front row here for tonight's 30-lap feature. Andy Patton, Joseph Grandy set to bring us the green flag here at the Clay Palace for heat race number 2. Here we go. Patton tries to clear Grandy in turns number 1 and 2 for the race lead, which he does. Undergrad tries to crisscross, but Chatham, though, forces the issue. 3 wide, Patton, hang on, not a whole lot of room between him and Grandy. Around goes the 518. Schaefer also collected as well. Oh, a big hit as well for Grandy. No brakes and caught the boilerplate.
Yeah, no, we saw that brewing. I mean, a little too aggressive there on lap number 1, and maybe wasn't the cause of it, but just doesn't give you any room to check off if something quick happens, and normally it does on lap number 1. You see what happened.
And look who went through to the lead, wasting no time in the Channel Lock 18. You may consider that a Casey Kane throwback from his 2002 Busch Series days. Thomas Scott out in front. Let's pull up the Malco's Mills Mill Ready replay and show you how he made the pass for the lead. This was off a turn 4. Champ just opened the door. So Thomas Scott pretty much pulled a Lewis Hamilton to go to the point.
Yeah, and Thomas Scott, teammate with Chad Griggs. We saw the speed Chad had. The interesting thing, Chad was doing it on the top. Thomas is doing it on the bottom, especially in 3 and 4 here. He reps the lip in 1 and 2, but he's experimenting in 3 and 4. That just shows that setup has versatility, and he's going to be quick tonight.
17:20 last time by for the driver, the number 18. He's got 3 laps to go here. Oh, this is pretty funny. Patrick Spangler. Oh, this is cruel, Patrick. Because of the 3 Inferno Motorsports drivers involved in that accident. Spangler said, was that Team Alpine out there? Oof. Oof! That's cold-blooded. So Scott's still leading. Chatham second, Craig third, Schaefer fourth, Patton fifth, and Grandy's put it on into the pits in 6th. We work the final lap here of heat race number 2. Scott continuing to rip the lip. A 1-second lead on Gavin Chatham down the back. Checkers wave for Thomas Scott. He takes the win in heat 2. Chatham in 2nd. Craig comes to cross the line in 3rd. We'll see Chris Schaefer finish in the 4th spot. Andy Patton comes across in 5th. So that does it for heat race number 2. Thomas Scott, the winner of the heat. And we've got one more heat race left to go. It's brought to you by Maurer Farm Management. And here's the starting lineup. Brian Lawson on the pole in car number 9. And next to him, it's the Goose, Chad Cote in car 11. Row 2, Canada Connor DeRoss in the 35. And slide job, Isaac Salas in the 5. Final row tonight, Michael Todd in the Mystery Machine 117. And making, I believe, his 2nd start with Coast to Coast, Clay Johnson in the 44X. Speaking of F1, by the way, we were all chatting in the Venom Discord Sunday during the British Grand Prix in a heck of a race. And, you know, I personally am not a Lewis Hamilton fan, but was very happy to see him end that winless streak and at least get one win this year before he moves on to Ferrari, especially getting that win in his home country. That was cool.
Oh, no one's happier than me seeing Lewis Hamilton win, lose, since I'm a Max Verstappen fan. But if you didn't cry when you watched that, I don't know if I can be your friend, because definitely shed happy tears. You could just hear the emotion in his voice, and I mean, to become the winningest driver there and pass Michael Schumacher, that's absolutely huge. That was Lewis's idol as a kid, and you could tell how much it meant to him.
So we're ready to come green for heat race number 2 of the Rebels. Winner starts inside of row number 2 tonight. I would keep an eye on that inside line closely, especially with Connor Ross. So the front row races each other very tight as we go green. This is what I was talking about. Are we going to go 3 wide off the corner? Nearly for second. It's lost. It puts just about put Salas on the wall. Still 3 wide. Connor Ross trying to take the lead, but it's the Goose, Chad Cote, that leads lap number 1. Salas then shuts the door on Connor Ross to go for the race lead.
Yeah, he had to think better of it, though, lift out of it and realize he's got a couple laps to go to work here. But, man, he's going to dive back under Chad Cote again here.
Did you see, though, on that onboard how close his left front was to the Jersey barrier? Oh, my goodness, that would have been ugly. Of course, the Jersey barriers come at you out of nowhere here at Oswego. Completely different than at a track like, say, Weed Sport. That has its inside covered up with a guardrail of some sort. Wing to wing for the lead. And Salas, the quick man, slide job with a slide job. 17:37 last time by. Salas to the point, Zach.
Yeah, and Chad Cote just lost all momentum, not enough to counter. And now this 35 here, Daddy's Money, he's got his sights set on taking over P2.
I thought for a moment somebody was going to end up in a bad accident. But no, Ross let up perfectly and sends it in to take away second. Oh!
And Connor, he didn't go up and shut the door here, but the 5, Isaac Salas, what's happening?
He caught the Jersey barrier. Connor with a slider. Isaac neck codes, 3 wide for the race lead at Oswego. Oh, this has become such a good race since Isaac caught the Jersey barrier. Connor nearly kisses the wall. Wing to wing, Ross on top with 2 to go. And another slider from Salas.
Yeah, it seems like 1 and 2 is where you want to throw the slider. Let's see if Connor has enough momentum to park it on the 5. He's going to keep it on the bottom.
Oh, Salas, I think he may have gotten Joe to the pits. He did. Just at the thinnest impact, he caught the wall, and Salas starts from the back of the field. That puts Clay Johnson up to 4th. Checkered flag is out for Canada. Connor Ross wins heat race number 2. Excuse me, heat race number 3. Cote 2nd, Lawson 3rd, Clay Johnson 4th, Michael Todd 5th, and Isaac Salas in 6th. That's a heartbreak for Salas.
Yeah, and that's just one of the bugs with new tracks. They'll work it out, and I mean, we've seen great racetrack. I'm not concerned.
We'll have to take a break here. Step aside on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses of man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. Here come the Extreme ECTV Coast to Coast Racing League Sprint Cars in the Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville National. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Race, drive, green flag, showtime in Knoxville Nationals underway. The Coast to Coast Racing League, in partnership with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Dylan Westbrook Racing, and Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding, are proud to present the 5th annual Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals for the Steve King Foundation. July 22nd to July 25th. 4 days of Knoxville action using the actual Knoxville National scoring system. Over $2,200 in payouts and prizes. $15 for Coast to Coast members, $20 for non-Coast to Coast members with a max I rating of 3,000. All proceeds go directly to the Steve King Foundation. Feel free to donate more. Open setup 360s with all races at the Knoxville Raceway. The event will be open to the first 100 drivers. All races will be broadcasted on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. For more info, log on to www.c2crl.com. It's showtime.
You're watching the Coast to Coast Racing League Rebels Division on the Coast to Coast Racing League Network, presented by Malcolm's Mills Millwrighting.
Ross Corrina getting us set here for tonight's feature. Let's meet the field and give you the RSN Trackside starting lineup. On the pole, Chad Griggs in the 27, and next to him, it's Thomas Scott in car number 18. Row number 2, it's Connor Ross, the 35, and JJ, the jet plane, Odell in the 38. Row number 3, Gavin Chatham in the 99, and the Goose, Chad Cote in the 11. Row 4, Soupy Dan McLaren in the 88, and the Bass Man, Roger Craig in the 747. Rounding out the top 10, Brian Lawson in the number 9, and Rick Main in the 187. Row 6, Chris Schaefer in the 123, and Clay Johnson in the 44. Row number 7, Tyler Flynn in the 831, and the General Andy Patton in the 87. Row number 8, Michael Todd in the 117, and the Captain Gary Taylor in the 34. The final row for tonight has Joseph Grandy, Hundgren in the 518, and Slide Job Isaac Salas in the 5. So the top 2 drivers from our 358 feature are the back 2 to start the Rebels feature. Oh boy, my pick to win, Chad Griggs in the 27, Zach.
Yeah, you know, I think Connor Ross is going to ride this one out tonight. I think he's due. He just needs to be patient. He's been quick. I think the 35's Daddy Money's going to win this one.
Well, let's know your pick to win in the chat. Over 25 viewers watching here tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, as well as the Slide Job Racing Network YouTube page. Murray Scala alongside Zach Chapman with you to call the action here tonight. So Steve King Foundation Pace Truck set to make its way onto pit road. Something we have never seen at the Oswego Speedway in the past. Sprint cars come to life. We've seen winged modifieds come to life, the winged super modifieds like ISMA, but we've never seen winged sprint cars. We're set to go green flag racing. Chad Griggs and Thomas Scott for the Rebels feature. It's time to get it on. Flatline Racing bodies green flag as the field makes their way down the back chute. Thomas Scott with a race lead, looks for the slide job on Chad Griggs. A caution flag is out for Isaac Salas, and Michael Todd may have gotten a piece of that one as well. So we'll go back to the starting lineup and tick off a lap. I'll show you what happened to slide job, making its way around the outside. Oh, caught the bumper. Ooh, that's a big impact there. It's right on board once again with Salas. So you see he catches the tail tank of Clay Johnson. That sends his car sideways. Don't know how that didn't catch, put Johnson around. And Michael Todd has nowhere to go in the impact, Zach.
No, yeah, him and Isaac Salas, they're both going to go in here. They got to use quick repairs, so they've got to hope to survive 30 more laps here with no incidents, and it may be a tall task here at a new track.
So the man that was glad to see that first yellow fly was Chad Gregzak, because Thomas Scott would have led lap 1.
Yeah, Thomas wasting no time. I mean, we talked earlier, they're teammates. And, you know, last week, Chad talked about how Thomas was running him down and, you know, possibly just got lucky that Thomas ran out of laps. He's trying to make sure that doesn't happen again here. He wants to get up front and try to avoid any accidents.
So doubled up for the first restart of the night. So we'll have the flatline green flag come out in just a moment. How will this restart play out this time? Well, we're about to find out. This time Griggs can fire whenever, and decided to go with the green flag this time. Interesting decision made, because Thomas Scott has an opportunity to take the race lead back from Griggs.
Yeah, he still left the gate open here, and he's going to throw it in here. He's not going to float up in front of his teammate, though, and advantage Chad Griggs.
So Griggs has the lead after 2 laps. See, though, if the number 18 is able to fight back off the corner. Connor Ross, J.J. Odell battle for 3rd. Final transfer spot in the Renegades is Gavin Chatham for right now, because here comes Dan McLaren looking for 5th on the 99.
Yeah, and, you know, he's doing it on the bottom. You got to wonder if guys like Thomas Scott, J.J. Odell, J.J. Odell, Connor Ross here, if they're just burning up their stuff too early.
For the lead.
Yeah, Thomas is doing it the good way, too, saving that right rear on the bottom.
Playing out using the Blake Chapman line for right now. The Lacey line, as I normally like to call it these days. Especially after his win. Oh, Scott caught the Jersey barrier. You see how the car flared up there and lost a ton of time to Chad Griggs. Scott was 3/10 better last time by than Griggs. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, risk versus reward down there. You see, if you want to make the bottom work, you got to get so close that you can't make a mistake. And, I mean, he is so close on the exit of turn 2, Marty.
Scott nearly lost a full second to Chad Griggs. That's how tight it was as Connor Ross catches the wall. May lose 4th to Dan McLaren as the Canadians battle it out for the position. And if you're on that high side right now, it seems to me if you're like, say in this mid-pack, you're on the high side, you're hanging on, Zach. Caution's out. Brian Lawson has crashed in, just before turn 3.
It's a dangerous game of throttle control up there right now, that's for sure. But you got the inside wall to contend with on the bottom if you want to be fast, so you got to pick your poison.
Oh, no! The teammates got together, Lawson and Salas. And Salas had to tow it to the pits, and same with Lawson. Right on board here with Lawson. That's a big impact.
Yeah, that was a violent hit for sure, and Isaac definitely not what he intended. He's going to feel bad after that one.
Here's another angle, and then we'll go slow-mo here. I want to see which part did he hit. And it was right there. I was wondering if that was the same spot where the pedestrian crossover gate is to get from the back straight into the infield. It wasn't. It was just before that. So, how about this view from turn number 2, from behind the fence? You know, last year when I was at Super Dirt Week, one of the pit officials, John Veach, who I'm good friends with at one of the local racetracks, he's in charge of pretty much bringing bring the teams into the infield, the pit crews and stuff, and want me to watch from behind turn number 3, see what the angle is like. That's a cool point of view to watch. I watched the, I believe the Pro Stock feature from there. So ready to come back to the green flag with 7 laps complete. Griggs fires. Let's go, Ariel. So Griggs holds serve. Scott stays right behind the tail tank. Odell still holds the 3rd position. Connor Ross with an opportunity. Look around the high side.
Yeah,
Thomas Scott wants to lead as well, Zach. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's trying to counter back here on the bottom, but his teammate shuts the door.
Oh, they get together. Oh! Hang on. Everybody hangs on to it. And through goes Connor Ross for the lead.
Oh, man, the look what I found here. He's going to hook it up, and we may have a new leader at the line. He needs this thing to stay green.
This is way too tight. Connor Ross hanging on by just about an inch on Chad Griggs. And Scott's falling out of the top 5. He's down to 6. Meanwhile, he's 3 wide, stuck on the outside. Andy Patton lets off. Same with J.J. Odell. Scott's rebounded up to 4th.
Yeah, Connor and Chad back and forth here. Connor's got the preferred line in 1 and 2, but Chad comes right back with the preferred line in 3 and 4. This is what we want to see.
Great racing between the top 2 at the moment. And if they stay side by side, say watch out for Gavin Chatham as well in that 3rd position.
Yeah, and you know, I think Chad Griggs heard you there. He slotted up in line right as you said that. That's got to be the move. He's got to be patient. He's got to wait for Connor to get loose, and he's got to go for a crossover and a slider. He can't fight back and forth all these laps.
5-lap average, top 2, pretty much neck and neck as things stand. But now Thomas Scott wants the bottom step of the podium back. Here comes Griggs for the lead. I think Connor actually kissed the boilerplate off in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, you know, Chad's really going in and sending it up on that cushion, almost jumping the lip and then driving off.
Here it comes. Big slider from Griggs. Ross reads it well. Chris crosses. And Canada Connor hangs on, but for how long?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, that's only, you know, putting a little Band-Aid on the wound here. He's got to find some speed. Chad Griggs is, oh, man, he's got him cleared coming out of 2.
Big gap. Big gap here. I don't think Ross can even crisscross this one. Oh, look out, Todd. And the caution came out. Now, when did the yellow fly?
It's got Connor listed in 2nd, so just after the leaders crossed the line here.
Took a while to throw the yellow flag out. I don't know if the iRacing race control officials up at the tower, we get a good view of that, or reading things or whatnot. Catches the wall. Now that should have been a yellow there because Andy Patton passed him. I don't know what was going on there, but Michael Todd wanted to get back up with the field. But just look how dangerous of a spot that can be, especially when you're battling for position. So, Zach, I did get a confirmation as well from Scott that Thomas and Chad are not teammates. Just Chad's a part of Team SDR.
Oh, okay. I thought the way Chad talked in his interview last week that they were teammates, but live and you learn here.
Oh, Patrick again continuing with the burns. Caught the Jersey barrier because New Yorkers can't lay Jersey barriers in a straight line. Really?
It's kind of true. I saw you guys had a world famous jet ski finally get removed. It sat on one of your highways for like a year and a half. You should read that story. It's pretty good.
It is kind of true. Look at the way some of these Jersey barriers are set. It's not a perfect curve, or a perfect semicircle, whatever the heck you want to call it.
Looks like a West Virginia smile, the way they have all those lined up.
West Virginia smile. All right, every restart, rest of this race will be single file because We've been over the amount of double file restarts. Yeah, you can see it sticks out in turn 2. That's for sure. Those jersey barriers are still in the infield, by the way. You see those those in the background? That's where they leave them for, when it's asphalt time and not super dirt week time. So Chad Griggs set to bring us back to the green flag as we are just past the halfway mark. Top 5, remember, transfer to Renegades pending IL. Here we go. Griggs holds serve. Thomas Scott wants second from Connor Ross. Can he take it away? Can he send it for the lead again in the jersey barrier for a moment?
He's got so much speed on the bottom, but you got to wonder if that left front tire's straight anymore. He's running out of mistakes.
The steering arm looks to be good for right now, but again, kind of pretty close to clipping the retaining wall. Connor Ross, meanwhile, on the boilerplate, biking it in turn 4, back to 3rd, maybe even back to 4th, and maybe even 5th. Chatham up to the bottom step of the podium, and McLaren takes P4, Zach.
Yeah, that cushion up top is just getting so thin that it's hard to not jump it, especially going into 3 and 4, and it looks like now Connor's fighting a real tight sprint car here after getting in the wall.
It looks a lot like Knoxville before they reconfigured dirt track racing, because the high side was all pretty much like a motocross track. This is probably what it feels like right now at Oswego, and you can see, man, Connor's in a lot of trouble. Next time he hits the wall, he may break the steering arm and may be done.
Yeah, and he's about to lose that 5th and final transfer spot here to the A-Race. Joseph Grandy looking underneath, and man, remember Joseph Grandy, Marty, started in the final row here tonight.
Started from the back of the field. He's up 11 spots. Could be 12 if he takes away 5th, and that is the case. But still, Chad Griggs out in front. With 9 laps to go, we take another look at the 5-lap average. And he's got the best car right now. Gavin Chatham ripping the lip in turns 1 and 2 on the bottom step of the podium. Started in the 5th position. Now the battle for 5th. Connor trying to fight back on 100 grand.
Yeah, maybe figuring out how to drive that thing with the damage he's got, because it's almost looked like breathe new life into him. He's getting quicker here. He's trying to ring the bell, but he's going to run out of time.
Drivers putting a lap on Andy Patton. Let's see if Connor, using the top shelf, take away the 5th spot at the line. And that's the case. 6 laps to go in our Rebels feature. McLaren in the wall, pretty good. Smoked it with the right rear. Connor's got a chance for P4, Zach.
Yeah, he's going to throw it in up high. Dan, is he going to keep it on the bottom here? Is he going to throw a block? He's going to keep it on the bottom. And, man, it's going to be close there at the line. But Connor Ross trying to get enough momentum here in 1 and 2.
It's going to be a really good battle between the two for this position at the end with 5 laps remaining. Chad Griggs still out in front, looking to bat 600. Would be 3 wins in 5 starts for the number 27, should he get it done, and try and become as well at the same time a favorite to win the Knoxville Nationals. He's 3 laps away from taking the checkered flag in the first Coast to Coast Racing League sprint car race at Oswego.
And, Chad Griggs showing speed, and Thomas Scott showing speed on the bottom. Not as fast as Chad, but showing 2 lines can get it done here tonight.
Connor just about biked to hold everything. Yellow is out, upside down is Schaefer in turn 2. And we are hearing Chad Cote may have caught a piece of that. So this one is not over yet, Zach.
No, hey, get your popcorn ready. You got about 2 minutes if you put it on popcorn setting. Hurry up.
What kind of popcorn?
Extra movie butter, or movie theater butter. That's the only kind I get in my house.
Ooh. Patton with the right rear into his teammate once again. Team Alpine at it. Sorry, Spangler, had to do it. But then Chad Cote in turn 4. Ooh, broke something on the race car. Broke the left arm, so he pulled it onto pit road to be safe than sorry, and almost took out the victory lane stage. There it was. There's the contact. And Schaefer turtles on to his head. So Chad Griggs, everyone likes to call him the Jeff City Flash. Being out of the Jefferson City area. Looking for win 3 of the season, as I mentioned. Thomas Scott's second start in Coast to Coast, looking for career win number 1.
His best chance will be here going into 1 and 2 if Chad Griggs decides to let that door open, because he's been running the top in 1 and 2. Thomas needs to get a good start here.
Well, let's see what happens here in a 2-lap green-white checkered.
Oh, Connor Ross
Connor
spun
already
out coming to the
spun.
green.
The green flag is out, so this lap will count regardless. They did not get a yellow flag. Thomas Scott, meanwhile, slide job Chad Griggs. He's got the race lead to turn 3, Zach.
Yeah, that's what I talked about. You know, if he let it open, that was his chance. Thomas has been a master on the bottom, and it's going to be hard for Chad to get by here.
Final lap underway. Griggs in the wall. Thomas Scott out in front. Griggs with one last shot. Car length behind. Thomas Scott in 3 and 4. Pulls up. Little bit tight. Here they come. Side by side. First time winner. It's Thomas Scott.
Man, he stole that one. What a drive there. And, you know, it's a shame that was a little tainted there by that restart. But it's good that the caution didn't come out and the leaders had a chance to run it out.
Let's see what happened with Connor Ross as we took the green flag. Surprisingly, this was not deemed a yellow, or we'll go one more lap. I think it was too late to go one more lap.
Yeah, it looked like he got
Stack
some help
up.
from yep.
McLaren caught him, and man, Connor nearly went over.
Yeah, it all starts with Thomas Scott goes early, then it just Gavin goes. He has to check up, and just not enough time for everybody to check up.
And I think Griggs may have, I don't know if he heard something, race chair. No, just a slide job for Thomas Scott that at a regular dirt track would probably have been very lame. You probably not be able to get that to work. But I think at a track like Oswego that's very unique, Scott's able to pull that off and get the win. So we pull up the official results here. Scott the winner, Griggs second, Chatham third, McLaren fourth, Grandy fifth. Grandy the hard charger. They're all eligible for Renegades pending IL. Good run as well from Gary Taylor, finishing 9th after starting in 16th. Here is how the rest of the field looks. Biggest heartbreaks probably both Brian Lawson and Isaac Salas here tonight. Well, we've got our third place finisher. We don't have your top 2 just yet, but we'll pull in Gavin Chatham right now. We'll let Zach talk with him.
Hey, Gavin, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
I hear you guys.
Well, man, you know, not to... Kind of a boring race for you there. You know, you kind of rode around early on. You were able to get back by Connor and get on the podium whenever he had that little scuffle with the wall in 3 and 4. But at the end, when the caution came out, were you excited? Do you think you had a shot at the front 2?
No, I honestly really don't. Our setup wasn't there tonight. Quite frankly, I really don't have a setup for this yet. I didn't really get a lot of time to run these racetracks, and run Oswego this week. But no, all in all, I mean, our speed was there for you know, we kind of hung with them, which I was happy with. So when we actually get something rolling here, we'll feel pretty good. But all in all, yeah, I was kind of surprised it stayed around the top the whole entire time. It was razor thin around the top there, and I just can't believe the bottom didn't come in. This bottom was super slick too. So kind of an interesting racetrack, a new racetrack to go and tackle. But I'm sure we'll after some time, everybody will kind of figure it out. We'll put on a good show here.
Yeah, you know, speaking of figuring some stuff out, are you going to run this A race? Do you have any like, you don't have to tell me what they are, but do you have any adjustments in mind that you think can help you here in the A race?
Yeah, I'm gonna run it, and I think maybe touch the gear a little bit. I mean, gearing's so big. Gearing's kind of everything, and maybe make an adjustment here or there. I think that's about it. The car felt pretty decent. I just the speed just didn't feel like it was fully there. So probably some gearing or something that maybe tighten the car up a little bit because this thing it slicks off pretty quick, pretty fast. It seems like, and so you got to definitely tighten the car up for sure.
Well, you know, the 99 back on the podium, Gavin. Gotta feel good here, man. Got a lot of sponsors on that thing. Who you want to thank?
I just want to say first off, I want to apologize to Connor there. I know he was in a transfer spot, and I kind of checked up there, and it looked like the leaders were going, and I kind of went and then stopped, and that's I feel bad for Connor on that deal. But I just want to thank you guys for putting on. I got to apologize to him for starters, and then I just got to thank you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast, Coast to Coast Racing, everybody involved, all the sponsors, the admins, everybody that helps put this league on, lets us come out here and race. I just want to thank Chatham Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, and Miller Times Motorsports. Thank you all the sponsors. I just want to thank the fans for coming out and watching this league and supporting it and watching some good racing. And I just want to thank my fans as well for coming out and supporting.
Well, hey, man, that's what they got so far tonight. Some good racing and hell of a job tonight, Gavin. Looking forward to see what that 99 can do here in the Renegades.
All right, thank you, guys.
So Gavin Chatham finishing in third in Rebels. Let's bring in the second place finisher, Chad Griggs. Chad, a tough break for you tonight, man. Let me ask, did you feel like that the restart that you had, did you feel like you did enough there to hold off Thomas at the time?
On the last restart? Is that what you're
Yes.
talking about? I knew it was going to be a toss-up going into one anyway. Let's face it, I didn't need that last caution with 2 to go and a 2.4 second lead on him. So unfortunately, nothing I can do about that. So I'm still super pleased with this. Like literally, I wanted to turn a bunch of laps on this track this week when it came out. That was my intention. But I had a super busy week and weekend, and I ended up turning 4 laps on this track before I jumped in the session tonight. So with that in mind, I am ultra pleased.
What did you think of this track as a whole?
It's very fun track to run. I know that there was the talk in, the poll that was sent out about do we run it or not because of this glitch or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm confident enough in my ability to run the top and do it safely.
Well,
guys were running the top there. Are you there?
Yeah, we got you. We lost you there for just a moment, but you're good.
Okay. That was probably my Discord. It's been screwing up too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know how many guys in the...
Oh, you still there?
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, I think we're having some technical difficulties on Chad. Chad,
Got me now?
yep, yeah. Chad, we'll let you go. I know you're having some issues. We'll let you go fix those. I'm sorry, man. We'll bring in Thomas Scott, the winner. See if we can get Chad to fix those issues. Unfortunately, maybe if Chad gets that fixed, we'll bring him back for a second. Zach, you've caught up with a first-time winner.
Well, Thomas, sometimes you guys make me look really smart here, and yeah, I mean that the medicine the doctor prescribed just worked perfect. You got that caution, and he left the bottom open. Were you surprised he left it open, knowing how good you were on the bottom?
I mean, yeah, he was just running the top. The entire race. So, and he left it open. So I'm just gonna try to set the opportunity and just, pass it as quick as possible.
Yeah, he left it open. You're able to slide up in front of him. Do you think because you stayed committed to the bottom the whole time, do you think you had a little bit more right rear tire left and that really helped you those last couple laps?
Yeah, I just, always dedicate to the bottom whoever sets track. I feel like I was better. And when I ran the top 3 and 4, the gate always gets me. So I was committed to the bottom, and I feel like that way restart really helped. Plus, tagging the wall and getting the bent wheels was really one of the best in the early race. So that was pretty good for me.
Yeah, and not to bring up a heartbreaker, but last week so fast, and got caught up with that lap traffic accident. It's gotta feel good to win this week, and especially to beat Chad.
Yeah, I especially after he chopped me in one. That kind of got me a little upset because I put me back and I had to get back up. But yeah, just get back at him again, and it feels good. And I wish we could have done that over Dora, but a little unfortunate. But glad we got to bring it home tonight.
Well, hey man, big win tonight, and the top 5 if you're IL eligible. I'm not sure your incident rating, but you gonna run the Renegades race here?
I probably will, yes.
All right, man. Looking forward to it. Got a lot of sponsors on that thing, man. Who you want to thank?
Just me, myself, and I. Really, I mean, there's not really else to thank. Just trying to get better every day. So that's all I got to say.
Well, congratulations, man. We're looking forward to your story here in Coast to Coast. You've been fast here your first 2 nights, and looking forward to seeing your success here, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thomas Scott, a first-time winner in Coast to Coast action. We are going to step aside and go to break. When we come back, it's Renegades time. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we talked about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in an on-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you alongside Zach Chapman. Still waiting for the new session to load up here, as we currently do not have access to it. I am taking some other looks here, and so stand by while we wait on that. While we do wait, though, let's talk about the schedule for what's coming up the rest of the week and next week for Monday Night Madness. Tomorrow night, Old Timers Tuesday, broadcasted by Zach. We've got 3 treads for 358s at Lernerville and the DW12 Indy cars at Charlotte. That is at 7 p.m., I believe, so don't want to miss out on that. Pardon me. Wednesday night, the Hometown Heroes, also broadcasted by Shaggy at Lernerville with 360s and 410s. Thursday night is Thursday Night Thunder. I'll be broadcasting the small blocks and the big blocks at Limaland, also starting at 7 o'clock. Sunday is the Sunday night racing with Pro Late Models at Eldora. And then next week for Monday Night Madness, get out the fall-off count because we're going to Lernerville next week for week number 6. Next week, Zach, Lernerville should be an exciting one.
Yeah, and, that's one where I expect the big names, the regulars, Stephen Goldner, Lacey, Spangler, Chapman, those guys, they dominated a place like that. And, every now and then you sprinkle in a Dean Reynolds. I mean, he's been showing a lot of talent. So if you take away that wall, I mean, it really, you got to be good when the wall's not there to save you.
You got to be good when the wall's not there, and you got to know how high you are at this track, because if you are too high, you are going off the track, and sometimes you may flip downhill like Dean Meitzler did that made the iRacing not top 10 that one time. So let's talk about some other action in sprint car racing. We talked about it with Dean earlier. Last Thursday, we had Super Dirt Car Series at Land of Legends. Matt Williamson took the checkered flag there. Tuesday, they're at Thunder Mountain Speedway. I believe the World of Outlaws sprint cars were off last weekend. Not sure about what High Limit was doing. I believe they were off as well. On the late model side of things, we had some bombshell news that nobody saw coming. Ricky Thornton Jr. lost his ride, which was insane.
Yeah, and had another ride within about 10 or 15 minutes too, so you got to wonder how long that was really brewing and what was going on behind the scenes there, but we'll probably never know, Marty.
We'll never know, that's for sure, but I mean, this is probably the most shocking news I have seen in a long time. I haven't seen that since maybe like a Brandon Shepard left the Rocket One, or Huddy leaving the Rocket One, or even T-Mac leaving Paler. Dirt racing silly season is just on a whole nother level compared to NASCAR.
Yeah, it really is. And, you talked about the World of Outlaws being off. How cool was it that this week they decided to waive and let drivers run? I know I'm in Pennsylvania. PA Speed Weeks were this week, and Logan Schuhart got to come run some of the local tracks, he grew up on, and was able to win 2 races this week here in PA, and that means a lot for the local fans. So hats off to the World Outlaws for doing the right thing.
Perfect. So the session is loading up right now. We're going to step aside and take another break. When we come back, we'll be racing at Oswego. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Raceway, they're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses of man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. Here come the Extreme ECTV Coast to Coast Racing League Sprint Cars in the Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville National. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Race, drive, green flag, showtime in Knoxville Nationals underway. The Coast to Coast Racing League, in partnership with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Dillon Westbrook Racing, and Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding, are proud to present the 5th annual Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals for the Steve King Foundation. July 22nd to 4 days of Knoxville action using the actual Knoxville National scoring system. Over $2,200 in payouts and prizes. $15 for Coast to Coast members, $20 for non-Coast to Coast members with a max I rating of 3,000. All proceeds go directly to the Steve King Foundation. Feel free to donate more. Open setup 360s with all races at the Knoxville Raceway. The event will be open to the first 100 drivers. All races will be broadcasted on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. For more info, log on to www.c2crl.com. It's showtime. We're back here at the Oswego Speedway, ready to go under the lights. This is what it's going to look like Saturday night this year for the Billy Whitaker Cars 200 at Super Dirt Week. And I am super pumped up for it, Zach. We got to get you out to Oswego, man. You know, obviously Dean and I have to go every year. We got last year, 2 years ago, we had Lawson, Butchie, and Salas come out. I believe normally Kinsey comes out. We got to get you to come out, man. It's a treat.
Yeah, you know, now that I'm got my butt working regularly and my wife's not totally supporting the family here, that's in the cards for sure now. So it'd be something I have to plan out a little bit. But yeah, I'd love to get up there and meet up with you guys. That's for sure.
So let's take a look at how the times are looking from practice. Because this is a new session, Zach, you brought up a good point while we were under break. This could be a session when we have qualifying heats where drivers have a lot more grip than we've seen in the prior lobbies.
Yeah, it's going to be totally different from what they were just practicing on, and I'm really hoping guys like Chad Griggs here, Thomas, who won, Thomas Scott, I believe. They're not in the room yet, but we've got 22 guys right now, so we're 3 cars away from needing a B main. And just as soon as I say that, Chad Griggs shows up. He answers the bell, so we just need a couple more here.
So with this being a new track, obviously on the schedule, normally at these regular tracks, we're talking like, you know, a Spangler, a Goldner, a Chapman as the winner. Does this new track open up the playing field just a little bit more, and like who could be a key player to win?
Yeah, you know, it's not often that I think going into a race like this, the favorite is going to come from the Rebels. But you really got to look at guys like Chad Griggs, Gavin Chatham, Thomas Scott if he comes in here. They just did a bunch of laps on what will probably equate to a similar surface here after, you know, they run heats and a lot of guys at the warm-ups because there are a couple more guys in this room. They're going to have experience on that track, and that's going to mean everything come race time.
So times of the moment for the Renegades. B-Temp the quickest, 900ths of a second. Behind is John Short in second, Patrick Spangler third, Blake Chapman fourth, and Jeff Barker fifth. A lot of cool things to do here around Oswego as well. Just on the other side of the village of Oswego, you've got the college, home of the Lakers, big hockey team in the D3 level, that's for sure. Other notable places in the area, obviously we're off of Lake Ontario. Good places for food as well. The Oswego Sub Shop I love to go to. I believe it's Otto's Diner. They've got some really good pancakes as well. Trying to think what else there is too. There's a Cam's Pizza I like. Dean will understand this one. We actually have a Ruby Tuesday that has a delicious chicken parm mac and cheese as well as a chocolate cake that I was raving over on social media last October. A lot of cool things. So, looking at some of the drivers out here, let's go to Patrick Spangler, third quickest. Take a ride on board with them in a sprint car.
You see him kiss the wall a little bit as he's flirting with how low he can go, and you know this is the time you want to do that. You can't do that in qualifying, or it's going to cancel your lap. And heck, if you do that in the race, you might wreck yourself along with half the field. So you got to be careful as he gets real close again.
They actually caught it that time. We get a good view here, thanks to Track Cam Spy Gourmet, with the left front, and you can see there that sent his car sideways in front of Dino. Let's check in here with some other drivers possibly. I believe they're doing the drivers meeting right now. So there's Dino in the 79. Now obviously he wasn't able to race a sprint car, so there's going to be a big difference as we saw between a modified and a sprint car here, Zach.
Yeah, you know, with it being a sim, I mean, not as much difference as I would have thought there. The track lines, I mean, you wanted the high side, I guess, but Thomas Scott proved that. I mean, maybe if you have the gear for it and, you know, you set your car up for it, you can run the bottom, especially off 3 and 4 like we saw in the modified. So it's kind of your heart's desire here at this track. This track's going to set up for a lot of good racing, and I have a feeling this is going to become a driver favorite.
All right, here we go for qualifying. 2 laps in 2 minutes. First driver we'll watch is the 78 of Jack Clevenger. You can see he likes the high side. That's where you want to be here on a track with a lot more grip. Just in my opinion, unless you want to try a slider.
Yeah, no, totally. He's just a little too loose right now. He doesn't want to pull that wing back. He'll lose some speed, but it might be beneficial. He's just sawing on that wheel a lot in the middle of the corner.
Patrick Spangler quick is 16.508. Let's go to John Hine as he works lap number 2, 16.707 for the Professor. Gavin Chatham, though, goes quick time at a 16.38. Patrick Spangler across the line looking for a faster lap time. He did at a 16.51, but his third quick. Let's go to Thomas Scott, lap 1, second quick, 16.43, but bobbled in turns 3 and 4. He may have caught the wall. I don't know if this lap is going to count or not. I don't think it did. Blake Chapman, 7th quick on lap 1 at a 16.64. Off the corner, this is a better lap for Blake Chapman. How better? Second quick, 16.413.
Terry Landis, P5. Wow.
Who saw that coming by the Desert Demon? Barry Goldner, 17.61, 23rd quick. Jesse Bandy's lone lap in qualifying. How does this stand out? Invalidated. So Gavin Chatham, the quickest in time trials.
Yeah, and you know, that's like I brought up, Marty. These guys, it's brand new track. They just ran a full race. They've got the experience. Gavin showed it.
So we go to Heat 1, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. Here is how the starting lineup looks. Steven Stewart on pole position in the 29. Next to him, it's Gentleman Jack Hitt in the 217. Row number 2, it's the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39. And Gavin Chatham in car number 99. Row number 3, the Professor, John Hine in the number 71. And the Pink Panther, Jesse Exon in the 127. And the final row tonight is Stephen Goldner in the 30 and Brad Waite in the 814.
And it's unlike Stephen Goldner to be on that final row there in the heat, you know, it shows maybe they missed on the setup a little bit, but he's got a long race. Maybe he's set up for the slick here. Gavin Chatham, though, he knows, you know, awesome to get the pole, man, but now you got your work cut out for you in the heat. You got to go if you want to have a decent feature spot.
Pace cars in. Winner starts on pole for tonight's 35-lap feature. We're green for Heat 1. Side by side for the race lead as it's Stewart against Jack Hitt. Patrick Spangler tries to send it deep for the second position. Can he get that to stick? Not really just yet, but Hitt tries to thread the needle. Nearly 3 wide for the second spot as Stewart leads the opening lap. Here comes Spangler underneath.
Yeah, now Gavin Chatham's going to look here on the inside for P3. We got them almost how they lined up here battling.
Yeah, just at speeds of about 130, 140 miles an hour as Stewart and Spangler continue to go wing to wing in turn number 2. No one has a clear-cut advantage at the moment. Spangler may have to try a slide job here if he wants to clear Steven Stewart, but could be tough to do that. Look out, Atkinson nearly catches the wall. Chatham forces his way to hold on to 4th.
Yeah, and speaking of sliders, Steven Stewart finally threw it in there, and he shut the door on Patrick Spangler. So Patrick's going to go back down here and see what he can do.
For the lead, the high side banger. Not yet at the line. It was very close as we're halfway home. He sends it, though, into turns 1 and 2. Stewart tries to crisscross. 39 holds on to the lead. Does Stewart send it into turn number 3? Yes, he does with a slide job. Stewart nearly kisses the wall. Spangler crisscrosses, and Stewart sideways. Spangler clears.
Yeah, when in doubt, throttle out, and you could see that from the 29. He was all over the place and just didn't have the grip to counter back at the 39 of Patrick Spangler.
Coming to 2 laps to go here in heat race number 1. Your top 3 are all under a blanket. Give big credit, though, to Jack Hitt for keeping up with the top 2. Stewart trying the bottom once again. Doesn't work. That opens up the gap for Spangler big time to about a half second with 1 to go.
Yeah, Patrick Spengler knows how important starting on the front row here is for a feature, so he just knows he needs to stay smooth. He doesn't need to drive too fast, try anything crazy up against the wall, just needs to carry it in here.
Checkers are out in Heat 1. Patrick Spengler with the win. Steven Stewart second. Jack Kitt third. Gavin Chatham fourth. Jesse Exon fifth. John Hines sixth. Brad Waite seventh. Stephen Goldner eighth. I believe the car count was under 29, Zach. So we move on to Heat 2. Everyone transfers over.
Yeah, I believe we had 22 or 23 cars here, so yeah, everyone's going to make it tonight.
I believe it was 23 because we've got 8 in Heat 2, and I would assume 7 in Heat Race number 3. Second Heat Race brought to you by Regency Home Inspection. Here's the starting lineup. The Brute to Beast, Jeff Barker on pole position. Next to him, Talon Ulibarri in car number 19. Row number 2, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161, and the salesman Blake Chapman in car number 20. Row number 3, Bob DeGood, he's in the number 7, and the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the 83. Final row tonight, Perro Canadian, Soupy Dan McLaren in the 88, and Barry Goldner in the 36. All right, so with Blake Chapman in Heat Race number 2, what do you think he did amongst a lot of the other drivers took away from Heat 1?
Well, you know, Blake had to be licking his lips seeing how good Patrick was on the bottom. He's got to try to get down there as quick as he can and try to hook up.
Green flag, green flag.
Here we come to the green for Heat 2. We're underway. Barker tries to get up the hill to try and clear Ulibarri. That doesn't work. Makes sure that Landis stays down. The two may have touched. I'm not too sure, though. Here goes Barker to send it underneath. But Ulibarri is still there off for turn 4. Talon Ulibarri leads lap number 1.
Yeah, he sent it in there to 3 and 4, and boy, did it stick. That's where you want to be, it looks like right now in 3 and 4. Barker able to hang in 1 and 2, but let's see what happens here in 3 and 4.
On board Blake Chapman as he tries to go around the outside of the 513. Barker's hanging in there with the number 19. This is a great race. Quickest car, though, on track. The guy in 4th, Brandon Dittmer.
Yeah, you got to wonder if maybe Barker just got too right foot happy on those first couple laps, and now he's able to settle down, or settle in and calm down, and now he's arguably one of the faster cars on the track here, but Blake, man, he's hungry.
Chapman tried to out-throttle the top 2 drivers. He forces it underneath, 3 wide for the race lead. Who comes out with the advantage off the corner? Barker drops back down to 3rd. It's still Ulibarri that leads. Here comes Dittmer. He wants the 3rd position away for the Brute Beast. This is phenomenal stuff at Oswego. And it's just Heat 2, and we're halfway home.
Yeah, Blake's going to send it in here, and man, he just gets it to
stick.
stick.
Dittmer!
Oh, hang on, Spider Monkey.
McLaren sends it in on the 83. Dittmer nearly in the wall. Now gets forced in there by Landis, and around he goes.
Blake Chapman looking for the lead, though, in 3 and 4. Is he going to have enough to take it at the line? It's going to be close.
And Dan McLaren gets sideways with 2 laps to go. And he collected Barry Gold. Nope, he did not collect Goldner. It was all McLaren. Terry Landis, I think, caught a piece of it, and he did. Bob DeGood moves up to 4th. But we've got 2 laps to go in a battle for the lead between Ulibarri and Chapman. Can Ulibarri hold off the salesman?
Yeah, Blake Chapman stepped on it the last time here through 1 and 2, got 2 sideways on exit, and does it there again, and that's just going to kill all momentum. Talon Ulibarri should have this thing locked up.
How about the number 19 off of corner number 4, the TSC machine? Ulibarri, checkered flag, wins Heat Race number 2. Chapman 2nd, Barker 3rd, DeGood 4th, Landis 5th, Goldner 6th, McLaren 7th, and Dittmer 8th. One final heat race left to go, and it's brought to you by Maurer Farm Management. So we did have, folks, we do have a full field tonight. 24 drivers with us. Here's the starting lineup because we have 8 drivers in each heat. Superman's on the pole. Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Next to him, John Short in the 51. Row number 2, Jack Clevenger in the 78. And Thomas Scott in the 18. Row 3, Dean Reynolds, Dino in the 79. And B-Temp, Brandon Templeton in the 31. Final row tonight, Chad Griggs in the 270. And the Bandy Boat Master, Jesse Bandy in the 49. Heavy heat here coming up here, Zach. Especially with 2 of the Rebels drivers here in it.
Yeah, you know, you got Superman on the front row. You got Shorty up there beside him. And then, like you said, we got Chad Griggs, Thomas Scott. I mean, Jesse Bandy back there. He struggled in qualifying like Goldner. And, you know, another guy we mentioned, got to keep an eye out on, Dean Reynolds in this one. So this one, man, you got to be at full song if you want to win this one.
With Steve King Foundation pace truck on pit road, we are ready for the green flag. Winner starts inside of row number 2. Schatzer and Short bring us to green. Here we go.
Yeah, Shorty maybe caught sleeping a little bit on that start, and Thomas Scott tried to take advantage, but wow, that almost was bad.
Very little ground. Scott could have been flipping there. Oh, look out, Templeton. Sideways catches the Jersey barrier. He'll start last tonight. He nearly hit the opening of pit road and could have gone flipping heavily.
Yeah, Shorty able to take over the lead there, Marty, and then Schatzer gets in the wall, and Thomas Scott, here he comes.
After nearly getting sideways in turn number 2, he's up to second and may have a chance at the race lead. Fakes high, goes down low, looks like a basketball player as he throws a slider.
Yeah, it looks like a pass we saw with 2 to go in the Rebels race there. That was pretty familiar, run it in low and slide it up in front of your leader, and man, we got new blood in this series, Marty.
Chad Griggs caught the wall not once but twice. He's out of it and will likely start in the back of this field. Dino battling Clevenger, that's for the 5th spot. Jesse Bandy 4th, Kurt Schatzer 3rd, John Short 2nd. But Thomas Scott with a 16:92 last lap, the quickest driver on the track.
Yeah, driving it like Slamming Sammy out there, man. He's driving fast, ripping that lip, and I'm telling you, Blake Chapman, all those guys, they're going to have their hands full with this gentleman here if he becomes a regular driver.
3 laps to go. Scott now decides to run the lower line, see what lap times look like there and if there's any moisture. How about Jesse Bandy in this heat race? Started back in 8th and is running 4th. Could provide something from the middle of the pack. He could be a dark horse for tonight.
Yeah, and, you know, I think he's got the benefit of listening to Stephen Goldner complain about the setup he has and running in the back. Maybe gets to make some tweaks, and his teammate's hard run there is looking like it's benefiting him.
Scott with the bomb last time by a 16.8. Everyone else 17 laps and behind. Through 3 and 4, final time through for Thomas Scott. He'll start inside of row number 2 tonight and take the win in Heat 3. Look how big of the gap that was. A 4-second win on Kurt Schatzer. Bandy 3rd, Reynolds 4th, Clevenger 5th, Short 6th, Griggs 7th, and Templeton 8th. So that will do it for preliminary action. We're going to step aside for warm-up while Zach eats his Ruffles. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Raceway, they're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses of man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. Here come the Extreme ECTV Coast to Coast Racing League Sprint Cars in the Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville National. Where else would you rather? Right here, right now. Race, try, green flag, showtime, the Knoxville Nationals underway. The Coast to Coast Racing League, in partnership with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, Dillon Westbrook Racing, and Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding, are proud to present the 5th annual Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals for the Steve King Foundation. July 22nd to July 25th. 4 days of Knoxville action using the actual Knoxville National scoring system. Over $2,200 in payouts and prizes. $15 for Coast to Coast members, $20 for non-Coast to Coast members with a max I rating of 3,000. All proceeds go directly to the Steve King Foundation. Feel free to donate more. Open setup 360s with all races at the Knoxville Raceway. The event will be open to the first 100 drivers. All races will be broadcasted on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. For more info, log on to www.c2crl.com. It's showtime.
You're watching the Coast to Coast Racing League Renegades division on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, presented by Dillon Westbrook Racing.
Thomas Scott quickest in warm-ups with a 16:66. Everyone else 17:22 or higher. Let's meet the field. For your feature tonight, here's the RSN trackside starting lineup. On the pole, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39, next to Talon Ulibarri in the 19. Row 2, Thomas Scott in the 18, and Steven Stewart in the 29. Row number 3, the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20, and Superman Kurt Schetzer in the 218. Row 4, Gentleman Jack Hit in the 217, and the Brute to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Rounding out the top 10, the Bandy Boat Master, Jesse Bandy in the 49, and Gavin Chatham in the 99. Row 6, Bob DeGood in the 7, and Dean Reynolds in the 79. Row 7, it's the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson in the 127, and the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. Row 8, Jack Clevenger in the 78, and the Professor, John Hine in the 71. Rest of the grid look like this. Row 9, Barry Goldner and John Shore. Row 10, Brad Waite and Brandon Dittmer. Row 11, Chad Griggs and Stephen Goldner. Final row tonight, Dan McLaren and Brandon Templeton. Checking in with a couple of other people here. JJ Odell says, I need Chad's grip hack. You may want Thomas's grip hack here. And Gary says, evening, Marty. Fulton Speedway isn't far, that's for sure. The mayor says, just check DraftKings. Shaggy's the long shot tonight. So, all right, Shaggy, your pick to win. You're the long shot, apparently.
Man, I'll tell you what, that 18, he went out there, he ran right against the wall the first lap of warm-ups, and once he saw how fast that was, he got the hell off of it and ran up against the wall, so nobody else would see what he was doing, and I wouldn't be surprised if that 18 is honestly the leader going into turn 3.
All right, leaves the door wide open for me to pick Patrick Spangler tonight from the pole. Man, those top 2 cars, or even first, second, and fourth, those cars look like they could be teammates from the bright green. So, all righty, 1 lap from the green flag. The Flatline Racing Bodies green flag. 22 drivers make the call for green. Jack Clevenger and Chad Griggs, no call. And so the 22 drivers will battle for 35 laps. Who's it going to be and how's it going to be done? It's time to wing it and bring it. Because where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Patrick Spangler, Talon Ulibarri, bring us to green for the first time at Oswego. It's showtime! Oh, look how humongous crash!
Big wreck.
Stephen Goldner barrel rolls. Jack Hitt caught air. John Short also involved. A savage wreck in turn 2. Jack Hitt, the first driver that I saw get sideways and you knew because it was mid-pack, it was going to be ugly.
Yeah, floats up in front of Jeff Barker, and Jeff can't do anything about it.
May have caught the Jersey barrier as well, and just look at that. Behind them, John Short crashes, and look at the air time that Stephen Gollner gets. Right on board the 51. Let's see how this was caused.
Steven's going to lose points on that landing, Marty.
Ooh, Dan McLaren actually caught the Jersey barrier and came up into the 51. And then watch the ride that the 30 of Gollner takes. With nowhere to go. Well, he neck coated the 51, then ramped over the wheel of Gentleman Jack. Big wreck early brings out the first yellow. We'll come to the green flag this time by.
Chad Griggs was also able to make it out on the track. I'm anxious to see if he's on the lead lap here.
Have to see what happens as we come back to the green flag. Apparently this is now being deemed a single file restart for some reason. Not too sure because it should be double file, but nevertheless, we're back to green. So Spangler able to hold serve as down the back, the best battle on track, Steven Stewart and Blake Chapman for the 4th position. The Spangler leads the opening set of laps here as the Salesman moves up to 4th past Steven Stewart. Thomas Scott in the 3rd position, breathing down the neck of Tally Ulibarri for the runner-up spot as both of them hang out down low. Already, Patrick Spangler about to approach some lap traffic. Believe that would be Jack Hinton, the 217, and that is.
Yes, he's hoping for a quick caution here before he goes a lap down. There he
There
gets it.
Brandon Dittmer around on more cars. Gollner again. Brad Waite spun onto pit road. Brandon Templeton caught a piece of it. Another multi-car accident. Let's see how this one started. Ooh, Templeton caught the Jersey barrier. No, Dittmer caught the wheel of Waite, and on his side he went. On board with a couple of drivers here. Let's watch Brad Waite. I believe it was the driver that ramped over. Dittmer ramped over, and it was. Then just lost, and luckily he's able to get it onto pit road, so can go for a quick repair. Brandon Templeton trying to avoid hitting Terry Landis at first, so had 2X from the Jersey barrier. Then caught Brad Waite, around he went. Damaged the left front steering arm. Finally, Stephen Gollner, who again, nowhere to go in this crash. Probably the worst start I've seen to a race for Stephen.
Yeah, if you remember, he didn't have a lot of luck last week at Eldora either. So, man, he's going to have to find a way to really salvage this season. 2 tough weeks in a row. Could be wrong, but I believe Patrick Spangler had a night to forget at Eldora as well. So, he needs a good rebound here.
So now the field is going to double up this time. So I believe the reason why they didn't double up at first was because they did not complete a lap. They wanted to do it single file to make sure everyone was clean. So We double things up. Let's watch from the Chapman Racing drone shot as Spengler and Ulibarri make up the front row as we come back to the green flag with 5 laps complete.
Green, green, green.
Good
Good
jump from
restart for
Spengler,
Thomas.
but yeah, look at Thomas Scott who moves up into the 2nd position. Steven Stewart trying to get a run once again on Blake Chapman for 4th. Didn't work. He had to let off the throttle for a moment. Chapman a crack at the bottom stop of the podium. Can he take it off of turn number 4? And the answer is yes. So Chapman in 3rd. Now trying to chase down Thomas Scott. First side-by-side battles. A lot of cars got sideways off for turn 2. Jesse Bandy, Gavin Chatham. That's the battle for 7th on the track, Zach.
Yeah, you know, guys fighting to try to get to that bottom. So much different than what we saw in the B race where guys were just ripping that lip. You're really seeing them calm it down on corner entry, try to back it down and keep it on the bottom.
Still Spengler leading by a half second as Ulibarri now has company from, believe they are teammates, and they are, Steven Stewart in the race for 4th. They know to race each other clean. Don't do what the Venom drivers did. Don't do what Alpine did, I should say.
Yeah, no, you know, there's a time for that on the last lap if you want to really get the elbows out here and try to fight for it. But right now, if you got a teammate who's quicker than you got to let him go by and fight his fight.
Thomas Scott is all over Patrick Spengler for the lead. Last time by, Scott, quickest lap of the race, 17:68. Top shelf for Mama hides the cookies. Not yet at the line for the race lead.
Yeah, you know, big run in the middle too, but he kisses the wall, and somehow he's still side by side with the 39.
Spengler able to clear on turn number 3. Thomas Scott lifted. Patrick Spengler, though, have to deal with lap traffic in just a moment. That's Landis at the 161, but you've got a new leader, Thomas Scott, out in front.
Man, and now he did it where he was uncomfortable. That's almost an insult to Patrick. He goes right back down to the bottom and then just pulls right back away. Goodbye, see you later.
Oh, and Spengler caught the wall once again. Blake Chapman moves up to 2nd. Spengler may have a problem. The steering arm still intact on the 39. We've seen drivers, Zach, in the past win in Rebels and Renegades on the same night. I can remember my first full night in Coast to Coast action. Lane Snook did it. Thomas Scott, though, looking to do it one of a few. It's definitely uncommon in action. But imagine your first 2 Coast to Coast wins coming on the same night.
Yeah, I mean, that's unbelievable. I believe we saw Donovan Ross do it as well when he was in that magnificent run when he run every Rebels race all season. But, man, this is just unbelievable. You know, Blake Chapman, the guy behind him, arguably the best we've seen run the bottom in this league. Just can't touch this guy right now. He's glued to the bottom of the track. And Thomas Scott, man, welcome to Coast to Coast.
Steven Stewart on the wall, pretty good. Ulibarri gets past him for the 4th position. And that was a significant hit that Stewart took. Luckily, the steering's still intact on the 29. Could allow Kurt Schatzer to close in for the final spot in the top 5. Ulibarri now for the bottom step of the podium on Patrick Spengler. Does he go for it with a slide job? No, he gives Spengler room still.
Yeah, Patrick just lacking grip, though, up top, and he's going to lose it going down the backstretch here. Is telling Ulibarri he can run whatever line he chooses going down the front stretch.
Take a look at the 5-lap average. This is the most unique I have personally ever seen it. It's up and down, then up and down. It looks like a snake, something I've never seen. But the 3 best cars on the racetrack right now, Thomas Scott, Blake Chapman, and Dan McLaren, Zach.
Yeah, you know, the Soupy's the surprise there, and I mean, he started, what are we thinking here?
He
23rd?
started 23rd, and he is up to 7th plus 16 spots, and we have just about 15 laps remaining.
And, you know, he's doing it on the bottom, like these guys in front. He's getting slowed up a little bit by Superman. He doesn't have the cape on right now. He's just fluttering. If Dan can get by him, man, he's got time.
Oh, Schatzer in the wall.
Oh, Schatzer may not be happy about that one, but live to race another day here.
So McLaren now up 17. Schatzer with a run underneath. And, man, I thought for a moment Schatzer was going to turn McLaren like that. That was tight.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like it, but that just shows Schatzer cooler heads prevail there. He backs out of it when he gets loose, and like I say, you just got to live to race another day here.
Just under 15 laps to go here for Thomas Scott. 1.5 second advantage on Blake Chapman. That time, though, got a little sideways off for 2, but Scott able to hang on. Let's go to the battle for the bottom step of the podium. Ulibarri and Spangler. P3 on the line. Gap at 0.6 of a second. McLaren and Schatzer by 3 tenths. Bandy, Barker, and Short for 8th. Probably the best battle we have on the track at the moment, Zach.
Yeah, you know, but Soupy is quick here. He's got Steven Stewart in his sights, and it won't be another lap or 2 here before I think Dan cracks the top 5.
See how his exit looks off at turn number 4. Where do you think it is that he gets all the momentum? Let's take a look at his sectors right now.
You know, you just see it slick up, especially coming off a 2 on the high side, and those guys can't go hammer down. Whereas Dan right now, he's in all that tack. He's got that motor singing on the bottom, coming out of the corners and going down the straightaways, and the guys up top got to behave.
3 cars under a blanket for 5th, and so McLaren now up 18 spots to the 5th position with 10 laps to go at Oswego. Thomas Scott's lead, meanwhile, has increased up to 2 seconds on the Salesman. Talon Ulibarri third, 4 seconds behind. If I were to recall correctly for Ulibarri, this would be his first ever podium in coast-to-coast action.
Yeah, definitely here for the Renegades, that's for certain, but a lot of racing left, and you got to think, if you're Thomas Scott, do you need a 2-second lead? Maybe save some tire in case we get a late race caution.
Ulibarri's best finish of the year is 11th. Best finish ever in coast-to-coast action is 4th. Got it 3 times in the 360 at Lincoln, Williams Grove, and Eldora, all in Rebels competition.
And Superman and Soupy going back at it again. We've seen this before, but Schatzer goes around him on the high side this time.
And he's taken away the 5th position as we work on lap number 29 of this 35-lap feature at Oswego. Let's see if Schatzer can catch Patrick Spangler for the position. Ooh, Scalo sideways again off at turn number 2, but still with a really good lead for the driver out of Pennsylvania. 5 fingers in the air from Dave Barney. 5 laps remaining at the Clay Palace. Got to be careful with Landis and Het, who are racing. Actually, correct, they are not racing for position. Go ahead, Zach.
No, that's what I was going to say. You corrected me. I was going to say the same thing. You got to be careful with these guys racing in front of you, but Terry Landis does the right thing, knows he's not battling for position, just going to let him go by.
Kurt Schatzer now closes in on Patrick Spangler for the final spot in the top 5. So have Jesse Bandy, Steven Stewart with a good race going on for 7th behind them. Bandy gets a little bit tight. Stewart tries to crisscross. Look underneath off of turn 2.
Yeah, Bandy's got a lot of momentum up top, but he's got a lap car in front of him of Bob the Good, who's running the high side, so this is going to hurt him.
2 laps to go for Thomas Scott. We're going to mention it once again. This time, it is his 3rd start in coast-to-coast action. Actually, check that. I believe his 4th start in coast-to-coast action. And now, he is 5/8 of a mile away from his first ever Renegades win. One car just flipped at the white flag. We stay green the rest of the way. As the driver of the Sammy Swindell throwback, number 18, through 3 and 4, had his first Rebel win, now gets his first Renegade win at the Clay Palace. Thomas Scott wins. Chapman 2nd. Ulibarri 9 seconds behind to finish in 3rd. Patrick Spangler 4th and Kurt Schatzer 5th. 13 drivers remain on the lead lap at the end, but Thomas Scott did what Matt Williamson did last October, sweep the 2 big classes of Super Dirt Week. Scott just did it for the 2 big classes of Monday Night Madness. So here are how your official results look. Again, Dan McLaren, your biggest mover from 23rd up to 6th tonight. Well done of a run by the Canadian in the 88. John Short also a good run, up 8 spots to finish 10th. Dean Reynolds, Brad Wade, Stephen Golner also had good runs tonight. Golner with a nice recovery after the first 2 yellows that he was involved in, and somehow found his way to keep his car on the lead lap. I believe the car that flipped was Jack Hitt, if I recall correctly. If not, it was somebody else below, but it happened in front of the race leader. Actually did not get a report off of timing on who it may have been possibly after Scott took the white. So, but we'll talk to your top 3 here tonight. Again, a reminder, next week we are at Lernerville Speedway. All right, we'll begin with our 3rd place finisher here. Talon, because this is the first time we've had you on the podium for an interview, I want to make sure we've been pronouncing your last name correct. Is it Ulibarri?
Yeah, Ulibarri. Yeah, Ulibarri is how like we pronounce it, but you know, a couple people mistake it every now and then, so you guys are pronouncing it just fine the way you are.
Okay, we'll go Ulibarri then. So, Talon, a great run, your best coast-to-coast finish ever. So, congratulations for you on that. Take me through the positives, though, that you take away out of this run here at Oswego outside of the best finish.
You know, I think it's pretty good. Last week, I felt like I definitely had pace to be on that podium as well. At Eldora, just a couple mistakes, getting in with some wrecks didn't work out. But this week, it felt really good to show that I do have pace in the series and can run up there with these guys.
What's this first full year of Renegades been like for you as a whole? I mean, I know that every finish you've had has been outside of the top 10, but this has to be a big momentum shifter for you.
Yeah, it feels, like I said, it feels great. You know, yeah, season hasn't been what I wanted. These new setups that Tyler Wineland T5 Enterprise has been setting up for me, they've been pretty good. The past ones have been pretty loose. I like my setups more tight, like he's been making them recently. So I think that's been helping me. Yeah, it feels good to get a podium in Renegades. Wasn't able to get one in Rebels before I moved up, but yeah.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on the run?
Oh, like I said, T5E, 25 Enterprise, making the setups. Victory Fuel, you know, pretty good drink that I actually haven't gotten to try it, but Steven says it's really good. I want to get it. Yeah, and Steven, you know, he's the one that showed me this league. Luckily, I was able to get in it and be able to be fast with him.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Let's go to the salesman, Blake Chapman, who finishes runner-up tonight. Zach, you've got him. Chapman to Chapman.
Yeah, you know, Blake, it seems like you get stuck with me a lot here, and as I always say, man, you take all the talent from the family, and tonight, man, it just wasn't enough. What could you have done different?
Honestly, I'm not sure on that, Zach. Yeah, Thomas there was just on a different level. Congrats to him on the win. I don't know what he was doing, what I could have adjusted. I felt good all night, really. I was really confident coming in my qualifying set. We qualified well, and then I was a little more unsure about my feature set, but I felt like that really came in well. I didn't feel great the first 10 laps or so, but after that, I felt like the setup came in really well, and I didn't even know what to expect from this track, you know, my first time being here, and I was pleasantly surprised with this track. You know, it's different than any other track on this sim, really, with these wide sweeping corners, and I felt you could run the bottom. The middle came in, which I wasn't expecting, and that top was fast too. So, yeah, I'm not sure what more I could have done, but I'll make some adjustments to the car and hopefully be a little bit faster next time we're here.
Well, yeah, man, that's all you can do. And at the end of the day, you know, you're running for a championship. You know that P2 against a guy who's not even, you know, running weekly, that's not a big deal at the end of the day. You got to be smart, and you're able to bring home that middle step. So congratulations, kid. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching, especially Dad. Happy late birthday to him. I got to thank all the guys at the Kreitz Sim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Nandy at A&J Custom Creations. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn, I was actually vacation in South Dakota last week, and I was able to stop in their shop, which was a really cool experience for me. And you know, I don't have to say anything about their product, but they got some great people working down there too. So I love to support them, and you can go over to their website and use code CART, that's CART, at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I gotta thank you guys for putting this on.
Well, like I said, kid, hell of a job, man. Good points night. Hopefully you carry that momentum into next week.
Thanks, Zach.
So Blake Chapman with the runner-up finish here tonight. And now we go to victory lane. Well, we could say it once again. He's a first-time winner. Thomas Scott, what a night for you here in Oswego. How about it?
Yeah, feels pretty good.
Take me, I mean, did you have a feeling that you would be finishing up front at the end of the race? We saw at warm-ups, that you were faster than anyone else by, I think, what was it, Zach, like 0.8 of a second or something?
Yeah, Blake ended up cutting it down to 6, but it was over half a second.
Yeah, just a lot of practice and just test sessions, goes into it, and just being able to run so good and not messing up really helps me a lot.
What did you feel that your car was probably better than anyone else tonight?
I mean, honestly, I felt it right when I first practice. I mean, I've been straight and, haven't got it sideways. And, I did have the same tires, but other than that, I felt like I was fastest car. I mean, all night, both races.
Well, next week we make the trip to Lernerville. How do you feel about that going on in?
I mean, I really don't want to go down and see the bus off of turn 2. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just gonna see how it goes. See what I can figure out.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Just really, I mean, just you guys for the broadcast. You guys put on such good broadcasts, and Roger for the league, and yeah, just hopefully we can take the win into next week.
Well, enjoy the win, man. Congratulations. You deserve to celebrate tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thomas Scott with the win in Renegades. First-time Rebels to Renegades winner, so he sweeps the night of sprint cars at Oswego. Bring the booth back in here. Zach, final thoughts before we sign off tonight.
Well, Thomas, I mean, we saw the speed he had at Eldora. Got caught up in with lap traffic there as he was trying to get by Chad Griggs, and I mean, he got to put it on a showcase tonight. Stole one from Chad. There's no way he would have run him down in 3 laps when Chad had that 2-second lead, but was able to capitalize on a green-white checkered, and Thomas Scott, he stole the show tonight.
He absolutely did. A well-deserved night for Thomas Scott. Had the best car of anyone else, and I can't wait to see what he does at Lernerville next week. More banked, but a track that I would say probably has a lot similar length. One of the longer tracks as well on the coast-to-coast schedule. So we will talk to you next week at 7 p.m. when we have the Open 358s, the Rebels, and the Renegades down in Shaggy's neck of the woods. So with that, we bid adieu. On behalf of everyone at the Coast to Coast Racing League, all the fine drivers and sponsors, Roger Craig and his group of admins, on behalf of my broadcast partner, Zach Chapman, Mari Scala signing off for tonight. Congrats to your winners, Isaac Salas and Thomas Scott. So long.